Sunny and a high of 89.
Staples can help your business stand out with custom printed signs, banners, and brochures. Now at Staples, spend $50 or more on print and marketing services.
And then just a lot of time on that.
I want you to chime in on the ethics and all of the other.
What's up, Jack?
Hello, everyone.
And we're
I'm in a little hurry, and then I'll talk. But I'm very close to you.
I was thinking of selling Microsoft and jumping into oil, but then you come up and say, down.
Jack. Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, look at that.
I'm Shane.
That means they don't think it's going to happen.
Shane?
I don't, you know what? Every time I think I know.
I don't know if I know.
Anytime I think.
Ask her what you got that name.
No,
No, but I just don't know what the market,
Shane,
how they
your dad, your
have you seen
grandfather.
this thing like, how many
The movie.
come out, they make earnings, but they.
Shane, you're years too late. Or whatever. No. Come back. Wait, what was the end of that movie?
He rides off, doesn't he?
Come back, Shane.
Shane, come back. Come back, Shane.
I've heard that all my life.
Come back. Yeah, but you know what? There are not many people that will know that now about where you got your name. But I guessed it because I'm a
We were raised on Western.
Yeah.
You sound like you came out of a
Well, yeah.
Well,
So you watch every Sunday night.
Where are you from? Texas?
Yeah.
How the hell did I know that?
New Jersey!
New Jersey.
I'm
Next to Texas. It's right next to Texas.
Are you going to talk? I said, no, I can't understand me. My accent's too bad.
Oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
No, it's not bad. I like it actually.
Bad or good?
It's not like an Okie accent. So.
No.
So just you know, as our guest, just a new referral list member, just to get to know us. We don't really steer topics one way or the other. Today's topic, though, if we had one, is going to be about home improvements in general, and then we'll have some questions.
Mark, what happened to the asbestos lady?
Oh my God, home was condemned.
Which one?
Because the one that.
The one that was trashed.
Oh, I don't know the follow-up on that.
Well, the EPA got involved, and they first of all.
No, but I mean, I don't know if she's back in her house or what. We should get a update on that. She had no money.
Mark,
No. I think they could.
Ooh. Let's do, I don't want LED. It was going to be for him, but that changed. Hold on.
That's a good one, Jack, though. I don't think
What's that?
they never called back to us on that one. On the asbestos.
Oh.
Mark,
Is Durand on there?
I need the commercial sheet, bro. Or somebody to start with. And then I need to know from you, Mark.
Yes.
You feel not comfortable with them because they're new.
What's that?
I just need to know who I should knock out because some of them are new before.
Where's the list?
Well, he didn't get me the list yet. That's the problem.
Who's new?
I don't know. I think we have some new ones starting, and I don't think I should strap you with that.
I can't think of who would be new. You're good at the hearing aid one. You're good at the old folks one. You see a pattern?
This is bright light.
You got BioT started?
No.
I'm finding out about things.
Okay, so here's what I have.
She did. We're
Maybe
so
we see that.
excited. Yeah.
You know, buy and
Can't wait
build
to tell you
fuller,
about it.
K&H.
And so then take a couple off.
Do Centennial, Tinnitus, and then I don't care.
Okay, Cam Solar.
I'm fine. As long as you got copy points, that's easy.
Yeah, I think I want to try that here, though.
Then do it. Yeah, and the rest are good.
And then my in-house.
Just write them on that paper for me. The ones you don't do.
Well, I'm going to put them down all, and then I'll check them out.
Yeah, perfect.
just need to get that for you.
And then Duran's got 2.
He's got
1 and 1.
Okay, that's
So if you knock 1 out, I'll do 1 in the 3rd.
right. So I'll do a Duran. I don't see Duran on here though, Mark.
Bottom.
Okay, then I'll do it. So everything is as expected on the sheet.
Did you see this thing
Who's out of
Tom Brady was wearing? What is that?
Oh, I can't even believe it's a focus of attention.
What is it? He was at this gala, and but it's like,
What did he have on that's weird?
it's like, I don't even know what it is, man.
So,
I have no idea
you
what it
guys,
is.
Jim Carroll.
It's a very fancy tuxedo. It almost looks like he would be like a prince or something. It looks more royal than anything.
Anything that guy does, the media is going to say.
How he didn't come back and win that Super Bowl, it didn't matter to me for my
They
bets.
didn't win?
God, it was like so textbook Brady. There was like 3 minutes left.
They
All he
lost
had to
his
do
past. They lost his past Super Bowl.
to the Eagles, yeah. Eagles won.
Oh,
Underdogs.
okay. I forgot all about that. You're right.
My bet was they could actually, Eagles could lose by up to 7, so of course they won, so that's swept. But I really thought he was going to come back and win by 1 or 2 points. That was just, he always does.
Yeah.
Makes me think it's fixed.
The Troubleshooter.
Hello, Martino here. I love doing this show. It helps me just get up in the morning to know that we can help so many people to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars over the years. Who else can really say that? And it's not because of me. It's because I've been given the opportunity to be on radio and to use media with a purpose, radio and TV, over the many years, and mostly radio now. And we have such a good time doing what we do. This hour, brought to you by Cam Solar. That's another story in itself, solar. Holy crap. Anyway, what we do on this show, if you're just tuning in, please keep tuning in. Tell friends about it. It is truly an organization of consumer advocates, the Troubleshooter Network. We use our advertisers as advocates. For example, if something needs to be inspected, we send out a contractor, or we go to one of our healthcare providers, or one of our plumbers, one of our electricians. We use our advertisers with us to solve problems, answer questions, take complaints, and provide the best of the best. And speaking of solar, we have had such a tough time finding really good solar people, but now we have Cam Solar. I am so happy that we have Cam Solar, because just to tell you what it's been like to try to do this thing with solar companies. They come and go. Finally, we get a company that's been in business more than 10 years and has like 3,000 systems in effect. They are now in the Denver area. Zero out-of-pocket expense, financing available that can save you money from day one. Aesthetically pleasing panels that you can get a solar analysis of your property in a phone call. Results take just 20 minutes. They'll get back to you, or you can do it online. But let's do the online thing, okay? Go camsolar.com and then put the /troubleshooter. Go camsolar.com, put a slash, and then write troubleshooter. That'll take you to our landing page, and you can get a solar analysis. They'll let you know if it's worth going solar or not. And you own the system with them. No complications if and when you sell. That's GoCam, C-A-M, gocamsolar.com/troubleshooter. Welcome to the show. Mark, what did you want to say?
20 minutes, they get you a quote back, whether or not solar's right for you and how much. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
Our last company years ago, well, first of all, I don't want to get into that, but it would still take them 3 days.
And
20 minutes.
There are still federal tax benefits and rebates from utility companies. So go camsolar.com. And speaking of home improvements, we have Lent Construction with us, and we will be talking with them about home construction. We also have a new referral list member that does dog training, Jim Carraway. This is a tough one. You got to really love your dog to have dog training. But here's what I want to know, Jim. Canine Masters Dog Academy. Who gets their dog trained? Do you have a microphone? Can you grab one? Just throw him the mic and turn it on for him. He wasn't expecting to talk a lot. Jim, seriously now, with Canine Masters Dog Academy, do you train just for obedience for like pets, or is it specialty training?
It's mostly for pets.
What do you train?
Problem correction is mostly what I do.
Problem correction.
Yeah, I've been doing it a long time. I'm getting pretty good. And we get a lot of people that have serious
dogs. Could they?
Well, what's the point? You know, why not get a dog that's bred to do the work? The chances are you'll have better luck if you do that. It's not to say they can't, but it might take a lot more effort and time and work. So.
And then you do obedience training.
Yes.
Okay. You know, I think that when most dogs are given away or given up on because of behavior.
They are.
So you can basically save lives for dogs. I mean, a good family dog, how long does it take for basic training for just a family dog? You want a dog that's just a good dog.
5 weeks.
5 weeks?
Yeah.
And is that in-house training?
I go to the owner.
Oh, that's
good.
good.
The dog never leaves home.
Well, that's good.
Except maybe to go to the park. We get toward the end of it, we go proof the dog and make sure the dog's going to be able to do this regardless of what distractions are. It's really easy to teach the words. That's easy. A child can do that. It's getting compliance. That's where the skill is.
How do you get, you know, I'm fascinated with you, and I didn't mean to, I told you didn't have to talk that much. Well, how do you get to a point where you know this stuff? Like, there's no place to really learn how to be a dog person. Really, or even horses. You know, you just have it or you don't. So, for example, do you just have it? Did you just know you had it, or did you learn it from someone else?
No, I had the desire, but it took a while before I got in with these guys in Colorado Springs were ex-police dog trainers, and they taught me this program I've been using 27 years ago, and I've been using it ever since then.
But are there people that just don't make good dog trainers?
Are
there people that are instinctive, like the guy on TV, the Whisperer? Do you think he has? I mean, when you see him, does he have something special?
I think he just wants to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, if you have the desire and you want to learn it, you can do it. If you got somebody to teach it to you.
Thank you. All right, and I appreciate that. If anyone has questions about dog training, feel free to call. But Jack Lynch here about home construction and remodeling. Jack says one of the biggest problems that he has in the construction industry, because he is ethical, honest, and a good guy and quality. One of the biggest problem he has and other contractors, what do you think it is, Mark? I mean, other than the normal stuff of hiring good people.
Perception.
Perception, because people don't understand the true value and cost of things. That doesn't mean that Jack's more expensive than others. It means that people don't know. Like, they think, oh, I'm going to get my basement done for $5,000. You know, I mean, you can get anything done for any price if you want crap. But that's the biggest problem. When somebody quotes a deck, somebody quotes a room, somebody quotes a pop top, somebody quotes a basement. Jack, would you say that people are just totally in the dark when it comes to accurate pricing?
I completely agree with that, Tom.
Why? A friend of a friend of a friend, or why? Or is it just they don't have the money, maybe?
Well, it's...
Just get close to the mic. Point to it. Yeah, you can move.
People don't take time to do the education to find out what is involved in the project.
And what do things cost?
And what do things cost?
Now, I'm not saying this because I want people to be overcharged. Whenever I say this, it's not because I'm trying to justify expense. No, you shouldn't go with people just for the hell of it because they're expensive. It doesn't mean they're quality either. But you shouldn't go with the cheapest either unless you know it's quality. You need to go with quality and quality costs. Anyway, let's keep going. 303-713-TALK. Jennifer, what's on your mind today, Jennifer?
Hi, Tom.
Hey, what's happening with you?
Well, when I got home yesterday, I found my husband had left a receipt for a donation on the island. And I said, who was this? And he said it was someone who came to the door. And I said, well, what was who was the beneficiary? And it's American Fundraising Alliance. And he said they deal with soldiers who come back from the war and rehab.
Well, where did he find out about them?
He didn't. They came to the door.
Oh, okay. So he's just a nice guy who believes.
Yeah, he's a former military. He's a Marine, so I think it tugged at his heartstrings. And he donated a small amount in cash, but I wanted to know who these people were, so I started looking it up, and all they had on here was a Facebook page and a trust tax ID number, and I
Well,
the
I'm
IRS.
finding alerts about them.
Are you? I didn't find any. I tried to find a website that would give me alerts, and I couldn't.
Well, first of all, let's just say this. I start out, unfortunately, thinking they're all scams.
Because most of them
Because most of them are, especially when it comes to two things, children and veterans. Because it tugs at heartstrings. I start out thinking they're scams, then I want to find out something about it. And I say, why bother? When you know you can go to a really legit one that's already there, why bother just giving to another one? I know that sounds weird, but, you know, people want to earmark donations. United Way is a good way of giving, unless you want to earmark certain things. Even with United Way, you can earmark, but you can go directly to organizations. I can't tell you if they're good or bad. I don't know enough. But I start out by saying no, and then I'll investigate. I don't like giving. When I walk down the street, and people, here's what they do. And when I was in San Diego for a few days, you walk down this ocean walk or the bay walk, and they say things like, would you like to help homeless children? Well, of course I would. They have a T-shirt on and has a name of an organization. That doesn't mean I want to stop right then and there and donate money. I'm sorry. Or I'm in a checkout line. I can't stand when they say, would you like just $2 to help poor homeless children who are beaten every day, and you can stop it. It's like, no, I don't want to help that. You sound like a jerk. But they put you in that position. I always say no, always, because my giving is done privately, and it's done after a lot of thought. And so I don't know what to tell you. So how much did he donate?
It was just $10.
Yeah, so no big deal right now. No big deal.
No, but what was a red flag was it says there's a picture of a veteran on this little receipt, but it says nothing about veterans in the rest of it. It just says American Fundraising Alliance.
I understand. And here's the deal. Most charities are scams, unfortunately. Most of them are. And
they are not registered with the tax. They're not registered with the IRS as tax exempt, and they said they don't have to be. But
no. And this is something that also is true.
You can donate to a homeless guy. It doesn't matter.
I want to make something very clear about nonprofit. I had an argument one time with a moron newspaper reporter. You can have a nonprofit without it being a charity. I had one on purpose. Why? Because I wanted to fund it, and I wanted friends to fund it. We did not take tax deductions. We just funded it. So when we wanted to help a guy who needed help, or a single mom who needed a car, we went out and helped. And I would say, this is done with my Help Center Foundation. It was a nonprofit. I never said send money, get a tax deduction, nothing. It's just my own little private thing. Why did I do that? Because when you do a 501(c), you are bound to very specific guidelines. You must do very specific things. And if you don't, you get in trouble. So I didn't want the IRS to be in control at all. So I simply wanted a nonprofit. What that meant was all the money in it is used for the intended purpose. Not one dime goes anywhere else. Do you get a tax deduction? No. You just give to give. That's it, period. And when you do it, we just use it to help people. But then I don't have the IRS saying, why'd you buy this woman a car? Do you know who she is? Do you know, how do you know she's in need? And why did you get this guy an apartment? Who gives a damn? I do what I want because I'm not asking you for a charitable designation. So just because a place does not have a charitable designation doesn't make them bad. However, I don't think they should be soliciting and pretending to be a charity either. I don't know what to tell you. All I can tell you, Jennifer, is you're good to question it, and from now on, just do some research. The secretaries of state usually have a filing for charities where they give, because you want to know the percentage of administration. That's the important thing. I know I'm overtime, Mark. Mark's pointing to the clock like he's some big guy that knows how to keep time.
Move it on.
Okay, I know. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Plumbline Services for plumbing, heating, cooling, electric, and drains with free second opinions. This is what I want to make clear. If you have a quote for a water heater, a furnace, an air conditioner, or you have any kind of a quote for any big job, Plumb Line Services will give you a free second opinion. Oh yeah, they'd love to do the job. That's why they do it. That's what advertising is about, getting business. But if you have a good price, they'll tell you. They're not dishonest. They're not unethical. They will tell you if they can beat the deal as well. And then you know you have a great company behind you. Plumb Line Services, plumbing, heating, cooling, electric, and drains. And right now they're doing complete furnace checks or air conditioning checks for just $39. That's Plumb Line Services, 303-586-1086, 303-586-1086.
If you're looking for replacement windows, K&H Home Solutions. I've known Ted Rowland 25 years or more. This company has more than a 60-year heritage. K&H Home Solutions used to be K&H Windows, and they were the first replacement window company on my referral list at referrals.com. Windows, doors, and siding. Their website is khwindows.com. That's khwindows.com. Designed for both beauty and energy efficiency.
I have Brian Burns on for line 2. He's already looked at the paperwork. Here it is. It's a denial letter that she got. And anyway, so I guess furniture fell out of a truck and hit her vehicle. And insurance came back and said, well, our client says he had everything tied down, so we're denying the claim.
That's right. Either that or spray paint their house in the middle of the night, or I don't know, other options.
Been there, done that. Oh, kidding.
Team Eats Tide Pod.
Eats what more?
Those pods that you.
Oh, I heard that before. That's been a while since that.
It's called the Deodorant Challenge.
It burned the inside. Right.
It's just, and it's a challenge they put up on the. It's so stupid.
I don't even understand this. The game involves spraying deodorant onto a person's bare skin for as long as possible.
Deodorant? What would be wrong with deodorant?
It's one of those spray cans. It's extremely cold when it comes.
Yes, yeah.
Oh.
But hold on now.
So they freeze your.
So the more you spray, the colder it gets.
Freeze your skin.
You should see your arm, man. It is
from deodorant.
It burned the shit out of
Well,
you.
from any spray, right?
It says deodorant. They call it the Deodorant Challenge.
I've seen the cinnamon challenge. Yeah. And the cinnamon will hurt.
That's almost impossible. I don't think anybody can eat a spoonful of cinnamon.
They ask you to take a teaspoon of cinnamon.
You can't. I'm saying I don't think anybody can do it, right?
Really?
I'll bring some in tomorrow.
No,
we'll do it live.
Not a full teaspoon.
A cup. Jeez, it's wild. I can't believe these kids do stupid shit like this. I mean, we all did stupid shit, but who would burn themselves?
I had a buddy in the academy that wasn't affected by pepper spray at all.
Really?
Sprayed it right in his eyes and his
Oh
mouth.
my God.
Wow.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Wow.
Was it a tolerance he built up, or just he's weird?
I guess he's weird. I mean, I was dying. And
you know, I said that, but I remember in military school we'd see how long you could put a hand over a lighter, but my God, I don't remember anyone actually getting burned. Right.
That's really dumb.
And we'd also take a knife and do this deal.
We should do that tomorrow.
Well, you do it yourself.
Yeah.
What?
How can you do it fast though?
Oh, I could do that extremely fast back in the day.
Okay.
I couldn't. I cut myself for sure.
You weren't in military school.
You know how many bad stories start with back in the day?
Oh,
That's right.
every story. You never hear, tomorrow I'm going to burn myself.
And a buddy used to, when he get drunk, he'd chew glass.
Yeah, I had a friend that could eat a glass.
Right.
Eat
Well,
it, eat
but
the
it was
whole
just
thing.
so stupid because
It's
it's really
well,
hard
kind
on
of
feeling it.
eat the whole thing.
But you got to really get it very fine. Very fine.
What was he, a nut?
Is not.
Okay. No, wait a minute.
Not. I should say a nut. He just did it for
crazy people.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Colorado Tinnitus and Hearing Center is having a grand opening for their grand opening celebration, meaning that they're doing free tinnitus evaluations at their new location. It's a beautiful office. I'm so happy they've moved. It's 3601 South Clarkson, but that's not the important thing at Clarkson and Hamden. What's important is that they are dedicated to tinnitus research and treatment. They have a permanent solution for tinnitus. It goes away. It doesn't come back in all of the cases so far. And they don't call it a cure because of the FDA, but you get to keep the treatment even after you've taken it. So if it comes back, you can always redo it. It's a wonderful thing, and it's called the Syncra. They also have solutions for hearing loss or for both. So call them for a free evaluation for your tinnitus. And then, of course, if you have a hearing loss, accompanied it, or just a hearing loss, you get to use hearing devices free of charge to see if it's right. A free trial period with no obligation. 303-534-0163. 303-534-0163. And that's Colorado Tinnitus and Hearing Center on my referral list, referrallist.com. Okay, so we get a denial letter here, and it says, basically, we are writing to let you know that we're not going to basically cover this thing. So what happened? Let's talk about it. Karen's upset. We're going to figure out what's going on. All right, what happened, Karen, what happened? Tell me about this situation.
Okay, basically I was going up C470 and just driving along, and there was a truck, a pickup truck.
In front?
Approximately, yeah, in front of me. I was in the right lane, and he was in the left lane, going quicker, of course.
Okay, so you're behind a pickup truck, and what happened?
He had furniture in the back of his pickup truck.
Yeah.
He flew out of his vehicle, bounced in the center line, and
Ooh.
went right into my
There
front.
was, he was hauling furniture.
Yes.
And it damaged your car?
Yes.
Okay,
And
that's pretty
so
simple. Now, first and foremost, I want to ask, who did you contact? His insurance company, him, or who?
Yes.
Who?
He pulled over, luckily, and I pulled over, and he came and gave me all of his information. He admitted that, oh, well, I thought that was heavy enough to not fly out, you know, and anyway, yeah, he gave me all of this information.
Now, did you take his auto insurance or his homeowner's?
His auto insurance.
Okay. Out of curiosity, Brian Burns is with Compass Insurance Group. They are our insurance experts, people you can call for insurance checkups or just to help out. They really help us with insurance problems. A prime example of where our referral list experts are our experts for help as well as for services. Now, Brian, first and foremost, in that situation, I'm not saying if they should be liable or not. I'm saying, is it the auto insurance or is it the homeowners that would cover someone under those circumstances normally?
It should be auto insurance,
really?
The liability portion.
So
yeah,
when you have
was
something and you're hauling something, your vehicle insurance covers you for anything coming out of a vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, that's where they would try to go to first. It's just, you know, obviously if you had a trailer on the back that's attached to it, I know that's a little different, but this thing was tied down and obviously came loose. I would imagine they would try to go after the liability portion of the auto insurance.
And Karen, and that's where you got this Allstate denial letter.
Yeah, basically Allstate just decided that after talking to him, he had told them, oh, I had it tied down really well, and it just so happened it was on the day where we had really high winds.
I knew that's where they were going to go with that. Okay.
Yep.
Act of God.
So now they're saying it's act of God now.
Okay.
It kind of is, though, isn't it, Brian?
It doesn't say in this letter. It just says we're not going to cover it. It doesn't say why.
I don't even see the denial letter. I think she said she got a verbal denial.
No, we have a letter.
I got a verbal
I don't see anywhere in that letter.
Oh, no, this is just a claim acknowledgement.
It's just a claim acknowledgement. That doesn't actually tell us what they're actually saying on the denial, but you said you've talked to them. Now, let me ask you, Karen, just to make this a little bit easier, do you have collision and comprehensive on your policy for your insurance?
Well, no, because I have a Toyota 06.
Okay, that's all you have to say.
Yeah.
It's fine. You don't.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
No.
Okay.
That
would be the first avenue where you'd want
Brian,
to go,
if it truly was an act of God, let's say it was a little, one of those little mini tornadoes or a 100-mile-an-hour gust, how does that work?
Well, no, her comp would cover it.
She doesn't have comp, though.
Would it be her comp or her collision?
Here's the way it works. If it's still, obviously it's a moot point on this one, but if she had comprehensive and collision, if the item is still moving when she hits it, it's considered comprehensive. If it had fallen into the middle of the road and been there and at a stop and you hit it, that'd be collision. So it just depends on exactly what the situation is.
Fine. So in this case, I would go after, just like I tell people, go after the driver. That insurance company has no obligation to you, Karen. You don't have to take their answer. You go after him. I would sue this guy in small claims court because he was hauling it. Is he going to actually lie and say it was tied down? But even if it was tied down, he didn't tie it down adequately.
Yeah, but they're saying the wind blew it out.
Are they saying, Karen, are they saying the wind did it?
Yeah, they're saying, oh, well, because there was high winds that day, that's probably
I would verify if there were high winds, by the way. I would absolutely verify that.
Is that a good defense, though, Brian? That's what I keep trying to get to.
I don't know if it is. Here's the way I would look at it is, if you're driving that thing down the highway, they're on C-470 going 65 miles an hour, you should have tied it down to the point where it would be able to withstand.
That's what I'm saying. No matter what, you were negligent.
I just think there's negligence there still. And I'll tell you what, Karen, I know it's kind of an overwhelming thing to think I have to go sue him in court. That is probably the best answer. However, I would be willing to call this Allstate adjuster and see if I could get anywhere with them.
Good.
To see if we can move this along without having to go
down
that road.
All right, yeah, because if they talk insurance talk to each other, Karen, he may know where Brian is going, and Brian might be able to do that. So hold on, Karen. We're going to put you in touch. TheInsuranceHelpCenter.com and Compass, they're great. 303-996-9000. Good people. All right, if you have any construction questions about finishing your basement, we did have one general question. Can I put a square foot price on it? I would say it depends on level of trim. What do you say, Jack?
Level of trim and also the way that their basement is constructed.
Can you do a low per square foot and a high per square foot without being ridiculously high or low?
Well,
realistic.
It's hard to do that because once people hear a number, they stick to that number, and there's many variables.
There's got to be a range. I know you can't do it for $10 a foot no matter what kind of basement it is, right? There's got to be a bottom.
Probably around $25 a square foot.
Would be the bottom. That doesn't mean that you fall into the bottom, but I think that's fair. So if somebody's quoting less than that, there's something wrong. And even $25 a foot is very extraordinary. It'd have to be all things. It would have to be a very basic trim level.
No bedrooms.
Or excuse me. The most expensive part of basement remodel is actually the bathroom. And many homes, they don't have it completely roughed in for all the plumbing to go in. So that's if you have to break out concrete, move things around, that's where the costs start.
How about egress windows?
Egress windows are not cheap. I mean, you're talking $5,000 to retrofit an egress window.
It's difficult. Now, we have a company that does
Denver Egress.
They do a great job. And that in itself is an expense. That's above and beyond the normal stuff. So 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Let's talk about stem cell therapy. Real stem cell therapy, living stem cell therapy. By the way, people have been writing to me, and I invite you to it live at Troubleshooter.com, who have experienced fake stem cell therapy. Those who've gotten amniotic fluid and were told it was living stem cells. We are collecting your names for a reason, so you can write to me live at Troubleshooter.com. If you are considering stem cell therapy, please don't make that mistake to go to a chiropractor's office giving you amniotic fluid. If they say it has living stem cells, then ask for the test results specifically, please. If you want true MDs, registered nurses, who harvest stem cells at the time of the injection and do it with imagery and you have true living stem cells for back, shoulders, hips, and repairs most ACL tears, knees. The first clinic ever to do it in the country, Centeno Schultz, 303-963-9201, 303-963-9201.
I was going to jump in on that call. There's a statute requiring all vehicles, you can't have things fall onto the highway.
Right.
And if she would have filed a police report and charges were filed against the other party, she wouldn't have been in this mess.
Well, they could still argue it was an act of God, though. I mean, that's all they're doing.
It's still the responsibility. It doesn't, if they have something that falls onto the highway, that's the violation.
Well, I'm not saying that the driver's not responsible. I'm saying the insurance company can still argue it.
The insurance company can argue it.
Yeah.
In the eyes of the state statute, it's the driver's responsibility to tie down the road.
Unless the whole vehicle was picked up.
That would be crazy.
That'd be an act of violation.
Unsecured load, improperly secured load.
Well, how about like these semi-rigs that, you know, once or twice a year blow over on I-70?
That's an act of God.
But I've seen microburst. We had a microburst up in West Creek, pick up our camper, put it about 15 feet in the air and slam it back down. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
Act of God.
Act of God. Or the devil. Either one.
What'd you do? What were you doing the night before?
Good point. Mystery solved. I mean, there truly is things like that, but yeah, you're right. This guy didn't even tie it down, I don't think.
No.
Because he said it was
This guy was
heavy.
pulled over to the side of the road, gave her my insurance information. The first thing he said is, "Don't call the cops."
Oh, really?
I guarantee that's what he said.
I saw a trailer going up to Colorado Springs about a year ago. Guy was right in front of me, and it took me a minute, but the trailer came off the hitch and was kind of just going by itself, and he was in front of it, and then I watched that thing finally turn and just... So I got out. I was going to our KRDO down there, our radio station. I was going to be on their news channel thing. Oh, the news department will love this because they got a TV station too. So I got this video out, and I'm videoing what happened. You could tell his weld broke, and it was like some homemade trailer. He got really pissed at me for taking a video. He's like, "Quick, take that video." I'm like, "You don't own the highway, dude. You can't tell me to take it. Quit taking a video."
Channel 9 News.
It didn't hit any cars, though. I mean, he about lucked out as no kidding. With the exception, he's got this big mess in the middle of I-25. He lucked out.
Mark, I have an appointment tomorrow with Presidential Brokerage for a possible,
That's odd. Keep going.
just so you know.
Oh, okay.
And that's a good, they used to do a lot of advertising. That's good. I just wanted to let you know.
Is that going to be an issue?
Well, I don't know, because I don't think we have technically an exclusive, but they would advertise literally. So, before I do anything, I'll talk to you.
Okay.
But I'm just going to do it.
That's, yeah.
Their agency called me.
Yeah.
But he's
you know why, though, because they have no other fucking options anymore.
You've heard of them, though, right? They used to do a lot of...
I hear some occasionally here, right?
I don't know if they do, but they did boils extensively. They don't do it.
That's a thing within itself.
His show just exhausts.
I think it's just purely
No. He has a good small core, and then they get a burst in the beginning. You think this is great. Then it goes away like in a week. It's like no response at all.
That'll be interesting.
It's a microscopic, literally, audience. It doesn't even show on the radio.
Well, it's his core.
You can't get the radio station anywhere in the metro area.
Really?
Yeah, it's not a very powerful signal.
I at my house I get a little bit, but it's not as good as this one. But,
I can get it in Southeast Aurora.
Oh, really?
I can get it through Castle Rock, but I think I've listened one time when I was...
I get 630 all the way up in Blackhawk.
He's Boyles does pretty good lives. He actually does.
He's good. I love his show too. Actually, I do. I like his show.
I'm going back in the day.
It's not a bad station either.
He did like that Ramsey thing for, my God, like a year.
Yeah,
At some point.
But he's learned it worked for him. He does binges. See, that's what he does. That's what he does. Right now he's on the Mayor every single
for the last month.
Every day. Every day.
The one that was playing grab ass.
Do you remember when he was that Corey Borges? Do you remember that one agent that Corey Borges?
Yeah.
Frank Duran, the realestateman.com. There's just simply no choice, okay? If you're looking to list a home, how do you do better? Frank Duran, the realestateman.com. He looks, I don't know how he does it. This guy is a ball of energy, but he truly loves people. He's ethical, honest. He is dedicated. You get free house cleaning and staging with your listing. He does proactive marketing, and they have stats to show they sell for more money and quicker than other listings. Now, you need someone good, even in a great market, because they have to evaluate the many offers to get the one that will close. 303-920-1622. 920-1622. Frank Duran, realestateman.com. A very quick question here on basement finishing. Is it necessary? I don't even know what they're talking. Well, I guess I know. Is it necessary to insulate against the concrete walls if you have dirt all around it, if you're subterranean?
It's a requirement.
Subterranean, my word.
It's a code requirement that you insulate all the walls.
So you have to insulate. So then you would have to fur it. You have to do the full 2x4.
Correct.
You can't just fur it.
There are systems that you can put directly to the concrete wall to fur it out and then attach the drywall to the furred out systems.
Now you do line by line quoting.
I do.
So everyone can see exactly what they're getting.
I break it into groups, certain areas of aspects of the project. I don't give. It's hard to give 20 line items.
No, but I'm talking about where it counts. Like in the bathroom, you have a line by line.
Correct.
I'm not talking about each stud or each thing, but you give line by line so I can see where I'm spending my money.
By the phase of the
and where you could cut back or maybe add to the budget.
Right. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Also, when he goes into a project, everything is spelled out. You don't have an allowance. Let me just tell you how an allowance can screw you. If you're getting estimates from 2 people or 3 or 4, and they give you an estimate, you have one guy that's pretty low. Let's say he's 40 grand. The other ones are 50 to 60. And you're thinking, why is this guy 40? So you look at floor coverings. He didn't put down like our man Jack Lent here. He didn't put down a carpet or the tile. He just put the guy that was low puts down floor covering allowance, and he puts down, let's say, $1,800. Well, Jack knows you can't get floor covering for $1,800, but it's an allowance. Or plumbing fixtures, an allowance, $1,200.
No, so you get a good quote.
Well, yeah, but you'd be surprised, Mark, at how many people get quotes with allowances. And when you actually over allowance, then that $140,000 quote turns out to be more expensive than the other guys. So it's really important to know what you're getting. If I leave you with one thing, it's don't go for allowances. Now, if you want an allowance just to get a rough idea, fine. But before you start construction, you should have everything nailed down. And that's important.
Tom, I do things a little bit differently. An example of this is a recent job. I sent the client over to the flooring supply place just for contractors.
Good.
She selected all of her materials, and she knows exactly how much she's paying.
Oh, you know who that would work good with? Buy and build. You send your people over to buy and build, they can pick out, seriously, you got your whole bathroom done for what?
Exactly.
I mean, it was next to nothing.
All right, Fred. What's happening, Fred?
Hey, Tom. I was just calling about a release of a collection agency for a derogatory on my TRW.
Okay, so you had a derogatory statement on your credit report?
Yes, sir.
Was it inaccurate?
Very much so.
Okay, what was it that they said?
Well, they tried to build me. They served me on Christmas, and tried to tell me that I owed a bill to a local hospital emergency room, which was authorized by the Veterans Administration hospital because of the distance.
Okay.
And so apparently there was some interaction between the billing department and the VA, because they have protocol that they expect you to follow. And
so did you get an ER service that day?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right,
I've been to court 4 times.
But hold on. I don't want to get into too much detail. Are you calling about the collection or the bill? I mean, did you actually owe for emergency room?
No, sir.
Why?
The VA did.
Okay.
The authorization.
Gotcha. Okay, so now what? Where do we stand?
Well, I got the dismissal without prejudice from the collection agency. They e-filed it and then sent me a copy of it.
So they dropped the case.
Yes, sir, they did.
Good.
But the derogatory is still there. I mean, I've had to fight 4 times in court showing the differences on the VA being responsible and the sole provider.
Well, if you have a court ruling and it was dismissed, just send that to the collection agency. I mean, excuse me, to the credit reporting agency.
The bureaus.
So I sent it to basically all the top 3.
Yeah, did you do that?
No, I was going to send one for requesting for the collection agency to do it.
No, you do it. It's your report.
The other way.
Now, they can do it, too.
The other way you could do it is take them to small claims court for breach of contract and then sue them for $7,500.
You mean for the collector?
Yeah, you're going to sue the collector. Actually, I'd probably go after the main, not just the collector. I would name the collector and whoever the original
the
creditor is.
The credit reporting agencies have a responsibility to keep that correct. And they have been sued before for slander of credit. But you have to have losses associated with it.
And you can't do that in small
Fred,
claims.
I would simply send a copy of you upload the court ruling and just say this was dismissed and it should have never been there, period, done. I mean, it's that easy. And usually, if you do it against one, it's corrected on all. But I would go online, and they all have online interfaces, all of them, where you can dispute it and you can upload a document. And that's what I would do. I mean, it's that simple. If you have a problem after that, call us. But can you make the collection agency do it? Well, in a perfect world, yeah, they should be able to do it, but they don't. They just don't. And you don't really want to waste your time. Now, as Mark said, you can sue them in small claims court. I frankly don't know what you sue them for. If you sue them for $7,500 for breach of contract, but what contract are you talking about, Mark? The contract that says that you satisfied it by what? By proving it wasn't you?
No, the contract that says I entered into an agreement with you guys when he went into the hospital, or in the case that I went through, I had one of our cellular phone companies coming after
but I
me.
think yours was different.
No, it wasn't much different. They hired a collection agency to come after me. I list the cell phone company, who I can't talk about in the agreement, and I also listed the creditor. The big cell phone company actually ended up paying me $1,000 to drop it, and pretty much they had to pull it from that record, or they owed me another $1,000 every 30 days.
It wasn't on your credit report, was it?
It was. That's the only reason I went after him.
So you went after him for that?
For breach of contract. I said I entered into a contract with you guys for cellular service. I paid you this much a month, and you agreed to give me service. I canceled under the agreement, and you guys put me under collections for something, and I didn't owe you money.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think he entered into anything with that collection agency or with the provider, the ER people.
Actually, what's weird about
VA did.
Actually, what's weird about his, unless if it was a VA hospital, if he went into just a normal hospital, he probably did assume that liability, right? Even if he did have insurance.
Well, VA authorized it, and the judge saw it that way, so he should not have personal liability. But I think by sending that court order or that dismissal is what you should do. I don't think in your case I can see where you can sue them. But that's what I would do, and then get back to us if that doesn't help.
The reason I was saying sue him is they actually dropped the case, and when they dropped the case, they're basically saying that, we give up.
Right.
That was it.
Rocky's Autos, 63rd and Federal, for used cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans. Rocky's, right now, all prices clearly marked, not only on the cars themselves, but at Rocky'sAutos.com. If you're looking for a vehicle, shop around. I tell people shop around, check cars out, but put Rocky's on the list. They give a Carfax with every car. They own each and every car. You don't ever have to wait for title. And they have 40 lenders to choose from on premises. All deals are 100% approved before you leave. They don't call you back with a trick saying you got to bring in more money or a cosigner or pay us for use of the car. None of that crap at Rocky's. A good square deal for great prices. Monday through Friday, 9 to 7. Saturdays, 9 to 6. 303-426-4646, 63rd and Federal.
The big traffic story in town is on the north end where you got a
Hey, Jack, just like, if you can have this when you talk to Tom like that, have it like that, otherwise it's covering your face. Okay.
Oh, you want for the camera?
Yeah. That's the, like I said, when you talk to him. You're too good looking of a guy and stuff not to show the face during the...
I was just told 2 days ago that I'm really getting gray. I have a lot more.
This is great. This is great.
Hey, I don't feel sorry for you one bit, dude.
Beautiful today with a high of 80. Right now, a few clouds and 59.
So you were a police officer?
I was a state trooper.
State trooper? Here in Colorado?
I was.
Cool. How long?
7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys have dogs in the state patrol?
We do. I think there's 6 dogs when I was in.
And do they ride with a trooper?
They do. They're
and how do they decide?
Patrol a specific area. They're assigned to an area of the
narcotic.
They're narcotic.
Dual purpose or just narcotics?
Dual purpose. I haven't trained on marijuana for a long time.
Really? Yeah, I heard there's a problem with that. If you have a dog that's been trained on marijuana and you make it stop, you find marijuana or anything else for that matter, they could get that thrown out of court. It doesn't matter if we bring them on. Dogs trained to detect something that's not illegal anymore. And there's been something going on with that.
He doesn't say, hey, it's marijuana, hey, it's coke, dog.
Right.
The dogs can't tell how much it is. So there's always a throwaway personal use. Yeah.
They don't get a lot of money per car. Whoa. So what? I mean investment people. Okay. They're investment people, right? That's correct. Financial advice.
You don't train dogs for that. Oh, yeah. Oh, you do?
Oh, I used to.
So,
they train with CSPD.
That would be,
that's why
dogs in the house, say you don't want your kids to.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
No,
otherwise it would be backdoor, Mark.
The companies that have.
This is just
That's so funny. I'm thinking there.
They get a lot of business.
I know there's a mortgage company out there called that. Well, presidential.
Damn it. You know what? I'm wrong. I think, 11:30. My appointment's 11:30.
You're going to have teeth yanked.
What the hell? Yes, 11. Nothing left for you to do. 11:30. It's not.
I don't believe in.
For what?
When I'm taking someone else's teeth out.
Not my own. Pick one more you want me to do on the way out, and that's it.
Or drhi.com.
Can we all agree that moms
Raleigh does.
When he wasn't throwing the players at us, he was pulling teeth.
His dad, when he'd be in trouble, had
He grew up in a farm.
an arm of steel. He'd reach into his
Always had pliers in his pocket.
yeah, what'd you call them? Oh, the pliers pockets.
Yeah.
And he could whip that thing out.
You playing with the dog?
I didn't know code said you had to insulate those walls in the basement.
Neither did I. I'll bet you mine's not.
What are those wall systems?
They're styrofoam.
Okay.
That you glue directly.
Is it cheaper?
It's 4-inch though, or is it third less?
It's about 3 inches, I believe.
Is it cheaper than running 2x4s in insulation? So why would they even invent it? What the hell's the purpose of it? Oh, probably less labor.
There's a lot less labor. And in some areas, if you have a short basement, it takes...
What if your basement is 40 stories underground? You still have to insulate it?
What are you saying?
Are you saying NORAD's insulated?
But, so, is that just Aurora, or is that Colorado-wide? It's a national? How long has it been there? My basement, I moved in
Well, then yours is done. Well, no, they could have done it without a permit. Yeah.
Mornings 5 to 10.
What's on your walls? Your drywall? Well, what makes you think there's no insulation?
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
I bet there's insulation. A lot of times, the builder puts the insulation directly on the exterior wall, and then that space, there's no insulation instead.
If you have an addict in your family, drugs, alcohol, prescription, otherwise illegal, whether it's a son or a daughter, an aunt, uncle, your spouse, I hope you don't, but if you have an addict in your family, what you need is information, because you eventually want to get someone into treatment or get some help somewhere. It may be treatment, it may be something else. Whatever it is, the Raleigh House has answers in their specialized information line. Please believe me when I tell you that this is not a sales job. These people are dedicated to getting you to the right program. They're going to get people in their treatment program, whether you call information lines or not. This is to give you accurate referrals and information regarding addiction. Like, what does it cost? Does insurance pay for it? What programs are available? How long are these programs? What kind of addictions are treated? How do I know there's a problem? What do I look for? Are there signs that it's getting worse? Is there a way to approach the drug addict? Is there a way to talk to them? Can you help us do that? Where can I go for just initial help? Any question, there's no question off base. 720-893-5559. My heart is happy when I read emails about people calling this line and finding out about things. One woman found out about the Salvation Army's plan through here that was free. The Raleigh House is not there to make a sales job. It's confidential, it's complimentary, and it's totally no obligation and free. 720-893-5559. The RaleighHouse.com sponsors that. Okay, what's going on with you, Mike? What's happening?
Yeah, hi, Tom.
Hi.
Back in 1971, I was in the military stationed here at Lowry, and moved in temporarily with a couple of guys.
Yeah.
I needed a place for a short time. I was going to get married in a little bit, so.
All right.
Anyway, these two guys were computer programs working at Lowry too. They worked nights, and then I worked days. Anyway, one night the police came in, and they arrested all of us.
For what?
For drug possession and sales.
Were any of you involved in that?
Yes, the two guys that originally owned the place and were working nights were the ones that were actually.
All right, so this is more than 40 years ago. How is this affecting you?
Went down to try to purchase a gun about 15 years ago, and the CBI came back with a report that since I had a felony arrest on my record.
I thought it was a conviction that counts.
Well, they just had a felony arrest, but they didn't have any disposition.
Have you ever tried to get a disposition or a record of the was it dismissed?
It was, because my name was not on the warrant. I was not named as one of the people that sold to the undercover agent.
All right. So, have you tried recently to purchase?
No, and I just recently
because you technically were not arrested. Your name was not on the warrant. You technically were not arrested. You were detained, but you were not arrested.
I was detained. I was in jail for a while.
I understand, but your name was never on the warrant. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
All right, then you were not arrested. Okay, so you have to either get that taken away or...
Let's try to get Lazzara.
Yeah, what you need to do, we'll try to get Joe Lazzara, but what you need to do, I would try to purchase one and honestly answer the questions. I would try now before I even bother. It may not be on there anymore. Hold on for more. Special...
I think that he may be jumping the gun. I didn't mean that.
Pardon the pun?
Well, man, that was clever.
That was clever.
But truly...
I'm in awe.
Mark, here's some scrap paper. The backs of this.
I need the one.
If you don't need scrap paper?
No, I use scrap paper, absolutely.
Okay, there you go. I just logged out, and I will take my sock, and then I have to go to a dental appointment. It's unplanned, people, so thank you.
I'll give you a little, you have a toothache, Tom?
No.
Okay. You know what it really works for a toothache?
I don't have a toothache. What? Whiskey.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Do you know, here's
What
the
is it out like that?
I have a where my implant is, the tooth shifts microscopically when I floss. And I just want to make sure it's not a loose implant. That's it. So in order to do that,
You know it's going to be loose.
So I ain't kidding. You
If it's bothering you, you know there's something fucking wrong.
But the tooth on top of the implant could be loose from the screw. The implant itself in the bone could be solid.
I see.
That's what I'm saying. So once I find that out, I'm fine. And then I won't, because if the implant's loose, you don't want an infection. That can screw you up. Thank you very much.
Where's your sandwich, Tom? Really?
Well, Mark, I handed you everything, and you were in such a freaking hurry. Here.
Every day I can't find up with
Where are you going tonight? Just really quick. I'm coming back probably. I'll see you.
Mark can poke the dog.
So, Mark, do you want your daughter to go in law enforcement, or is she just doing it for experience?
I think she's going to end up in law enforcement, whether I like it or not. I don't like it. Actually, I don't mind law enforcement. Oh, I got to do this, man. You got me off already. I'm going to go to do a commercial. I won't even have a phone number. I don't want her joining the military.
Come on.
But she's talked about that. My son, on the other hand, I encourage it. Seriously, I'm not trying to be sexist, but I've heard, I don't care what anybody says. I saw all that shit went down at the Air Force Academy, and that's a damn school. So I'm not.
I know where you're at. I agree.
You had daughters. Would you want to see them in the military? That's the only reason why, though. If that shit wasn't happening there, I'd have no problem with it.
As far as for guys,
that is a big man's club, man, no matter how you look at it. And thank God we have it, so I don't want to come off like I'm negative on it. It's just, it's hard to integrate women into that over a 200-year period. It's not easy.
I agree with putting your son in there. I think that's a good thing.
I've been pushing that, but that's...
I wish I was a vet. The opportunities I would receive for construction and contracts.
All that.
The more you'll have to pay.
Yeah. I think they almost do too much. There's guys out there that expect everything. I hate getting calls and the thing they do is, oh, I'm a veteran. That's great. I mean, I am too, but I don't wear it on my shirt. So that's what really bothers me.
Kind of a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under
I would never recommend any local police agency or any local enforcement, but if she wants to go federal, the only way to become a federal officer is through military service.
Really? You're saying like the FBI or something like that?
The preference points are unbelievable.
Well, Comey was in there, wasn't he? Was he in the military? Here, let me look it up real quick.
Well, I mean, he was appointed as...
Okay, you're right. So,
But as an officer,
I got you. So every FBI agent is ex-military?
Not every. FBI is a little bit different because they require
a
certain amount of...
Most of them are accountants by trade.
They're accountants or lawyers that have
they are.
Postgraduate degrees.
And lawyers. I know 2 accountants that are in the FBI.
DEA,
they thought they were going to be jumping from building to building, and they don't.
Excel Roofing is a company I can highly recommend.
Really?
You may have some old damage calls, but if anything happens these next few months,
is that because
Excel Roofing, they may
the
not
military gives you points? Like, say, if you're going to be a fireman or a police officer, you get so many points. So there's so many people wanting to grab points. Gotcha.
Someone that doesn't have it.
They're tricking you into a contract. Excel will never trick you into a contract. They will give you a contract when they're done examining and tell you everything you need, and if you like it, you sign it. They'll even help negotiate.
So it's not written in stone, that's the way it is. It's just with those extra points, there's so many people putting in for it that you need that extra few points to...
You will never have
plus
to
your
put any
test
money up
score,
front
right?
ever, and you will never have any penalty clauses in that contract because they know you want to stick with them, and they don't want to force you. 303-761-6400, the only way to run.
How about Pro?
ExcelRoofing.com, and look for Excel on my referral list at referralist.com.
He was even a minority, and that still didn't even...
Really? Wow. Whatever makes a difference. I thought it was only like 6 points or, on a scale of 100 or whatever. It's quite a bit. I know what firefighters and stuff, they get advantage and stuff.
How about with the local police? Same way?
It goes, every agency is different. State Patrol doesn't have any.
Solar is the only solar installer
You
I
don't?
recommend.
State
I
Patrol
chose
didn't have
Tom Martino with more than 3,000 solar projects.
They're having such a hard time to get people into the academy that they don't understand it.
Really? Well, even local police and stuff, I mean, they need people. They need people. It's the fire department that's got a lot of people. Who wouldn't want to be a fireman? It's kind of fun, get some good days off.
Don't get shot at very often.
Don't get shot off very often.
And it's not that, it's also getting run over.
On the highway patrol, I would say that's, you're right. I totally agree on that.
Fix It. I thought he did fix it. Do you not remember hearing Fix It?
No, I don't think he did.
What was that song? Huh?
I got to do at least one of those.
Yeah, I can't even imagine riding a bicycle on the street.
Yeah, what?
A bicycle. That's so dangerous.
Did he one clear?
When I was a new trooper.
Oh, I know why I'm confused. We've only done 1 hour. I'm thinking it's figured out.
From Capitol Pines had a neurosurgeon from New York and nearly killed him because both of them had good lawyers.
This is the Troubleshooter Show. I need somebody.
Drive around arresting people. When we talk deputies on this show, how about if I deputize you? Deputize.
That type of deputize I could take, but
Yeah.
I don't.
What'd you get out of law enforcement for? I'm curious. Was it boring?
It was not boring. It was a great job. I had great friends. The State Patrol is a great agency, but really policing has changed.
How about the money? Did you get out? I'm trying to get down to the crust of it. Why the hell did you get out of law enforcement? A lot of people spend their entire life in it.
Well, it's people.
Okay.
People really have changed. There was a certain amount of respect for law enforcement officers when I started.
And not anymore.
There isn't.
I think that's true. I think you're absolutely right. In fact, if you go back 3 or 4 years, cops were hated. I mean, seriously, it was crazy. There was snipers out there. It's very dangerous. I wouldn't do it.
My sister didn't talk to me for a year.
Your sister? That's true. Your sister didn't talk to you.
Around the Ferguson thing, she didn't talk to me because we had such differing viewpoints.
On the Ferguson deal. That's nuts,
we didn't
man.
Talk. Yeah.
You know, our family, or my family, my parents and myself, we run completely opposite sides of the aisle. And I understand, but we've never not talked to each other for that period of time. Maybe 6 months, just not the whole year. All right, 303-713-8255. I do want to get back to Mike real quick. Mike, you had a felony arrest, and I'm recapping this for everybody listening. Plus, we have Joseph A. Lazaro, one of my favorite criminal attorneys on, and I'm going to bring Joe up in a minute. But this was 1971, Mike, and the cops bust in. You were living with a couple other guys. Apparently, they were up to no good. What? Selling drugs, selling guns? What was it? I forget.
Yeah, they were selling drugs during the day, and then they worked at night.
Okay, and you lived there, but you weren't on any of the warrants. You weren't on anything. How long did you end up staying in jail?
I was in jail for I think 5 or 6 days until I finally found enough money to bail myself out.
All right, so so you got bailed out. All the charges were dropped on you, correct?
Yes. When we all went to court, the judge just said your name is not on the arrest warrant and you're free to go.
All right, so then fast forward roughly 32 years, which would put us around 2002 or 3. You try to purchase a gun, and you can't buy it. You come back flagged with this.
Yeah, I think it was in the mid to late 90s, actually.
Okay.
But yes, I did. I went down, tried to buy a gun. The CBI came back and said that there was a felony arrest on my record. And so I was assuming that they never had a disposition on it, but I wasn't sure if a felony arrest was enough to prohibit me from being able to buy or need to go to a shooting range or to buy a gun or.
Well, and that's a great question. Joseph A. Lazare, how are you today, Joe?
Good. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great, man. I never thought this, but I don't know if this is true or not. I know with, like, domestic violence and some other things that the bottom line is you don't have to actually have a conviction, but, you know, just saying it, you can get a temporary restraining order, and I believe you can't purchase a gun, at least in the state of Colorado, with a temporary restraining order. But in this, what we're talking about right now with Mike, back in 1971, if he was never convicted of anything, he was never on any of the warrants, but this felony arrest still comes up under Colorado courts or with the CBI, what do you make of all this?
Yeah, I mean, CBI has obviously broad discretion, and, you know, when they're looking at whether or not to grant somebody again, they're looking at the criminal history, they're looking at how do they answer, what type of offenses, do they use drugs, are they still using drugs, marijuana use, it's broad spectrum. So what I would tell him to do, the easiest thing to do, is, number one, seal it. Go get it removed. Go get it completely removed from his record. That's the easiest thing. Then he can go out, purchase a gun. If for some reason CBI denies it, he has the right to appeal that, and there's those steps that are outlined, and he can appeal it and say, hey, this is something I was wrongfully accused of, and they should grant him that.
Joe, I did not realize that. So can they say no to anybody getting a weapon just because they don't want to, or not just a weapon, but say a handgun?
There's certain criteria.
You said the discretion. I mean, if they just feel like it, can they do it?
No, it's not an arbitrary decision.
Okay.
It has to be based on, you know, the criminal history, restraining orders. Obviously, domestic violence is one of those issues. Felonies are one of those issues. Certain drug use is one of those issues. Pending drug use or current drug use is an issue. And then, you know, are they honest when filling out the forms?
Oh, that's a big one too, huh?
Yeah.
So, Mike, does that answer your question? You need to basically get it sealed.
It does to it does to a certain degree, and I really appreciate that info. I guess I still have two questions. One is, does a felony arrest but no conviction still prohibit me, or can they still
he just said it's discretion, and I would guess so. Joe, let me give an example. If one person has been arrested 20 times but never convicted, they might say, well, we don't want them to have a gun.
Right. It's going to be a red flag.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's where he's going. So that there is no answer to that, Mike. It's not cut and dry. It's the discretion of whoever is looking at your file when that background check comes in.
Right. And the red flags are felonies, obviously, drug use.
Well, how about domestic? How about, what do you call it, a misdemeanor domestic? Is that a no-gun situation, Joe?
It is.
Yeah, okay.
Anyone convicted of anything domestic violence related.
Yeah. So it doesn't, my point was, it doesn't necessarily have to be a felony.
No.
Mike, do you have any other questions? I mean, it's simple. Get it sealed.
Yeah, and okay, I think that I'll go ahead and start working on that. Is that something that I can do myself, and do I have to go to the county where the arrest actually occurred?
Yeah, I mean, one, you can call us, but number two, if you want to do it yourself, you can. Yeah, it has to be filed in the county in which that case resides. And the forms are online at Colorado State Judicial, so it's a little easier. The legislature's come in and simplified that, but the forms are online at Colorado State Judicial, or you can go to the courthouse specifically that's dealing where that case originated from.
All right, Mike, you've got it there, but I'd call Joe. Joe, I'm going to give your number out here real quick. I want Joe to hold on, though. Hold on a second. Joe, I want to ask you something else, all right?
Yep.
All right. I want to ask you this. These dash cams, I was on Facebook this morning just getting ready for the show, and this advertisement came up for these dash cams. People that have these dash cams, if you get pulled over, let's say they think you're DUI or you're pulled over for whatever reason, can they actually make you bring your own dash cam, or actually can they take the video out of your own dash cam to use as evidence against you?
It is. It can be evidence, absolutely. So I've seen people that have recorded contact with police officers, and the police officers will take or seize the phone
right there,
because it is video evidence of that incident.
Now, how about if they take the phone and you have it locked? I mean, you know, I'm looking at my Samsung now. I'm looking at Deputy Dan's Apple. I mean, these things, once they're locked, honestly, if you recall a while back, the FBI couldn't even get into that one phone. Eventually they did, but I mean, if the FBI can't break through the security on these things, can they make you give the code?
I had a client that had a pending case. They accessed her phone, and unbeknownst to everyone, she had programmed it. It was an iPhone. To as soon as it connected to Wi-Fi, to erase the whole phone and go back to factory mode.
Oh wow!
And we all sat there and watched it, and there was no one to stop it.
Oh my
so
goodness!
Those things, you know, with technology, unfortunately, the police are a little bit behind. Technology is just so much further ahead. I mean, obviously, the FBI is having difficulty accessing the phone, breaking that key, that password.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate your time. Are you still doing the $500 off for anybody that mentions the Troubleshooter or the Martino Show?
Yeah, if they mention it, I'll go ahead and honor that. Absolutely.
And that's excellent. So anybody out there, DUIs, anything, your kid gets in trouble shoplifting, I mean, really, there's nothing you don't handle. It's all criminal. We were talking during the break sometimes. I'm fascinated by criminal attorneys. I really, truly am. But you were, I can't say anything specific because I told you I wouldn't, but, man, you had a guy at one point or a gal that shot a cop. I mean, it was crazy. You do everything from shoplifting up to, you know, people that are up there for attempted murder.
Yeah, we do all types of cases, and that's criminal defense, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's everything.
But, you know, we got to protect our clients, and that's our #1 job.
All right, Joe Lazzara, and I'm not going to say this with him on the line, but he knows everybody. He knows the DAs in all the counties around here, Denver Metro, and that helps. He knows the judges. He's got relationships. He's the best out there. If you get in trouble, write it down, put it in your glove box, put it in your purse so you have it. 303-429-6200, 303-429-6200. That's Joseph A. Lazzara. Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back. We've got a condo rental drain problem, and I guess someone got into an auction and they want to back out. That's curious. If you are, did he win the auction? We'll find out after this.
And then I'm going to ask you some questions, Jim.
Never talk to the cop, call your lawyer first.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Those dash cams, though, intrigue me. That's what I was wondering. Can they literally take that right there on the spot if they're arresting you? Because that's wouldn't that suck? You buy a dash cam, and you get pulled over for speeding, and when you show up in the court, it's your own memory card showing you speeding.
Did you say call the cop or call your lawyer right away? But you can't if it's a DUI.
Well, when you get to jail, you can.
Right.
You said don't talk.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Don't talk. Okay.
I never put myself in a DUI situation, but everything that you do is part of a search. You know, you do roadsides? Sure, I'll do roadsides. Well, you just incriminated.
Well, of course.
I mean, that's, they're looking for evidence to arrest you. That's all they're doing.
When did you get out of the biz?
2000. It'll be 4 years in July.
So you didn't, well, you dealt with some of the medical stuff, but you didn't deal like what they are now when it comes to marijuana. When I had my shops, I mean, 3-4 years ago, every other vehicle we pulled in smelled like dope, man.
I mean, yeah, I dealt with it. And we found personal use even before they passed the law.
Yeah.
And, you know, we just said, why don't you just dump it out on the side of the road?
Yeah, Colorado's never, I think, what was it, if it was under an ounce or something back in the day, it was like a $25 fine.
They didn't want us to take it into evidence.
They were afraid they'd smoke it.
Hey, Charlie, we got another ounce.
Hey! Break out the cake!
We're going to have munchies after this.
The big thing was when you procure evidence, you have to take care of it. So if you took care of live plants, they would have to make sure that they didn't die.
Oh, really?
So that's why they stopped. And
My,
when you had any plants, you couldn't confiscate them because then you would have to become a gardener, put a greenhouse in the back of the shop.
a building I was in was taken by eminent domain in Peoria. They built this big parking right there, and the building was in the way. So it was long drawn out deal. But I shared that building with the marijuana grow. So it was a good year, literally on one side, and they used to do recaps back in the day in the back, which was 30 years ago. So that was just all empty space. So a grower came in, this guy from Columbia, and when you move a business under eminent domain, they have to pay for literally moving. Well, of course, that begs the question. First of all, it's federal tax dollars for some of the highway stuff, and so they can't move marijuana. But ultimately, what they ended up doing is the state bought the plants with no federal money, but they literally wrote a check for what they were, and then they burned all the plants and got rid of them. But it was a unique situation because generally you're dealing with highway and federal money, which you can't do with marijuana. Even till this day you can't.
But it was a legal girl?
It was a legal grow. But actually, he got in trouble. He actually got raided about a year after that. He had 3 retails and 2 or 3 grows. The whole lot of them, him and his brothers, all got raided. They were running shit out of state. Yeah. He was too, man. He was an off-the-boat Colombian. This dude was Colombian as it got, man. Made me think of, like, you know, Scarface and shit.
I went to the Arapahoe County Civilian Academy, and there they said they won't even take implants. And they didn't say because they couldn't grow. They said they had no room for everything. They said they'd just tell people to get rid of them. 100 Plant Services, we're coming back next week. Get rid of them.
Addie's State Patrol deal, she's gone for 7 days.
Oh, really?
It's just like the Academy. Although the Academy's how long, a month?
26 weeks.
Oh my God, 26 weeks.
26 weeks, so you're there for 26 weeks?
What was it like in there? Is it like boot camp or not?
Yeah, I mean, it was like boot camp. We had some people dropping after a couple of marches.
Oh, no kidding. I guess that makes sense.
I saw it's going to be over 90 degrees coming up. Over 90 degrees in the next week. You know who you call right now? Fix It 24/7. These guys will come out there, do a tune-up on that AC, make sure it's in good shape, give you a no breakdown guarantee. They do everything, by the way. You know, it's a real tune-up. It's a real inspection. They'll help you out, make sure everything's good. And then if you do need a new AC or need a new furnace in the future, who are you going to call? That's the whole reason they do these at these discounted prices, is when you actually do need something, they want you to call them. Fix It 24/7. You can go to fixmyhome.com, see all the services they do. But he's a great guy. George Donaldson, you know, him and Tom go back over 30 years. He was out of state building up another HVAC company in California for a while. Now he's back in Denver. Fix It 24/7 is growing like, it's growing so fast I can't believe it. It's like a 700% increase in business in the last 6 months, and that's because they do the job, and they do it right. They give you a fair price. They're straight shooters. They're great people. Give them a call or check out their website, fixmyhome.com, 720-526-3939, 720-526-3939. All right, Shane, actually, I hope I pronounce this right. Anish, how are you? Anish! Hello?
He must have given up.
All right, well, I give up too. How's that? I'll put him back on hold in case. I know he's been waiting. It looks like a long, long time. By the way, 2 lines open, 303-713-8255. Shane, what's going on?
Hello, I got myself in a big mess.
What is that mess, sir?
Well, I entered an auction, and I won the auction, and it comes to find out, and it's up for what it was an airplane, and the airplane is in really sad shape.
What kind of auction? Is it an online auction? Did you show up? What?
Yes. No, it was an online.
What auction was it?
It's called, let me look here. I got it right here.
Yeah. I mean, is it a...
It's called, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I mean, have you used this auction before? I'm trying to figure out if it's
No.
pretty legit. Because it sounds like you bid on it, but then when did you go see the plane?
I haven't.
Well, then how do you know it's in bad shape? Didn't you see the same pictures you do now?
Yeah, but I talked to a mechanic on the field to see if they would go do the annual on it, and he told me it was in bad shape.
Oh, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what you agreed to when you signed up for the auction. How did you do the funding?
Well, they asked for a credit card, so they charged me 8% of the purchase price, and that's what they put on my credit card, was just a touch over $5,000. And that's my question is, I don't know, if I decide to cut bait on this and just lose the $5,000.
Is that what the terms say, though? Do the terms say, hey, if you decide not to pick it up and pay for it?
No, it says that you're legally bound to this contract.
They're going to come after you, man. They're going to come after you.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have any magic for you. If you dispute the credit card, I mean, I'm not looking at the terms and conditions, nor am I an attorney. But if I look at the terms and conditions and read them like I was the one doing it, I'm assuming what they're going to say is exactly what you just said. If you agree to all these terms and you bid and you win, you agree to buy it. So I'm assuming your agreement is you have to buy it. They're going to be able to track that most likely by your IP address and your signature if you did like a e-verify contract, or not e-verify, but an e-signature style contract. I'm not exactly sure what you did, but if it's a legit site like Roller Auction, for example, you agreed to buy this stuff.
It's Munisi bid.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one, but, I mean, once again, if they're legit, they're legit. If you contest it on your credit card, they'll probably give you a provisional credit, but ultimately what's going to happen is they're going to provide Visa, MasterCard, Amex, Discover, whoever you used, all the documentation proving that you agreed to this stuff, and ultimately, in my opinion, they're going to take that back, and they could possibly come after you for not, actually not going through with the contract and purchasing it. Why don't you maybe just pay for it and put it back up at auction?
Right. Well,
it's just all a risk. I mean, everything's a risk. If you don't want it, then don't pay for it. Maybe they come after you, maybe they don't. I mean, it's completely up to you.
What would be, can you think of anything that would be, I mean, if they don't come back after, if they just keep the $5,000 and then don't come after me for the rest, I guess I could understand, that would be tough enough to take, but would they be able to come after me for extra?
Well, yeah, over that. Okay, once again, I'm not an attorney, but here's what I'm saying. I want to pretend I'm the auctioneer, and I have all these people bidding on this one person's airplane, and you win. Now, because you won, the guy that might have bid $2,000 less than you didn't, my damages are there because I agreed to sell this aircraft on whoever's behalf. So if you were, I guess you could make the argument if you were the only bidder, there might be a legal argument there if they sue you, but I don't know what that legal argument is. My entire point is they are probably in the right here. If they did everything right in the contract and you agreed, which you acknowledged to, I'm guessing they did everything right.
Okay, I was just wanting to, make sure there.
Where is the plane?
It's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Oh, man, so it's pretty far away, too, huh? What kind of plane is it?
It's a 210. It's a 72-210. It's a real nice, I mean...
Does it have RG?
It's been, no, well, yeah,
Is it a turbo?
No, it's not a turbo.
Okay.
But it's, it's a really, I mean, that's a really favorable plane.
Well, I understand that, but why, I guess what I don't understand is why are you taking this mechanic's word on it then? Has he actually worked on that plane?
No, well, he's seen it. He actually ferried the plane.
I gotcha.
And, but he hasn't worked on it. And it was through a police department, so I don't know. I don't know.
They were looking for dope.
I thought the police department was going to be a little more straight out about it, but...
Yeah.
So
well, you just thought of something. Brandon Siglian, he's on the referral list. If you go to referrallist.com, just type in Brandon or Siglian or attorneys, you'll find him. But an interesting question you just made me think about. Well, no, because you probably signed in the agreement it's as is in every which way. You just said you would think the police department would be a little more straightforward. What weren't they straightforward about? Let me ask you.
The condition of the airplane, they posted some pictures of the inside, and the mechanic says it's really torn up.
But are you saying they took false pictures? In other words, they took them out of another 210?
I think so.
Well, if they did that, you might have something. I mean, if it's that misleading, but you'd have to prove that.
Okay.
Which would come if they come after you. My guess is they're probably not going to come after you. I'm sure you're not the first person to back out, but I think it's going to be pulling teeth getting that deposit back, man. Rightfully so, too, if there was other bidders.
Well, true, but at the same time, I don't know. It just, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Call Siglian if they decide to come after you. You might just call them to sit down with them and just ask them even about the deposit. But have the terms and conditions of what you agreed to. But his phone number, by the way, Brandon, is 720-344-4828. Great real estate attorney, good contractual attorney. He's good at looking at contracts, and he also litigates. 720-344-4828. I appreciate that call, Shane. Robert bought a car in March. It won't pass emissions. Yes, Suzanne. I saw you.
Well, we had a gentleman in the who works in the building. He has a good question for Jack, so I wanted to ask that when you have time.
Absolutely, positively, we will do that. You know, another great attorney, John Fuller. Listen to this story. This is going to blow you away. Suzanne and I were coming back from the mountains. We stop at Costco or Sam's Club. I think it was Sam's Club in Castle Rock. We go through this light. Bam! This whack job lady is yelling at her kids as she blows through a red light and T-bones us. Put Suzanne in the hospital. She had issues for 6 months a year. It was horrible. You know who I called right off the bat? John Fuller. And I'm going to skip down a year and a half. Yeah, these things are not quick when you're injured in an accident. John Fuller will hold your hand the whole way, but I'm going to cut right to this. You know what he got us? Their policy limits, and they weren't minimum. He got every nickel they had in insurance, and he even thought about taking them to court personally, but their assets weren't there. The man will fight for you. John Fuller will fight for you. If you're hurt in an accident, you can watch late-night TV. You can go to all these guys, you know, the strong hand and the whack this and that guy and these other ones. You can go to any of them, but they're not going to fight like him. John Fuller will fight his butt off for you. You know, it's a small firm. He takes an individual look at every single case. He creates a relationship with you, and it's the best out there. John Fuller, Fuller Law, 303-597-4500, 303-597-4500. We'll be right back.
Trump's pulling out.
Did he say it?
He hasn't. He's at noon. He's supposed to announce it. But the two friends close to him said he's going to pull out.
Who are the two friends?
They won't say because they're not authorized to speak.
Pull out? I'm missing something.
The Iran deal?
Ooh, geez.
The worst deal ever.
No, well, you think so?
Well, I think it was a bad deal. Look at that.
No, it was a horrible deal.
$180 billion.
You said worst deal ever.
Are you saying?
The Louisiana Purchase.
That's what I was thinking. It could be.
Are you saying? Louisiana Purchase was a good deal.
The AG in New York.
You weren't in
Yeah, I guess it depends on what side of that deal you
By
were.
Alaska.
From the Russians, right?
Yeah.
It's like $8.
Ended up being a great deal, like $8.
I don't know what a great deal it is. I mean,
Three cents
what do we got?
an acre.
Actually, we probably have a lot of nukes sitting over there. Don't you think?
We took out it?
In Alaska?
Yeah. No, I think we have a lot of weapons sitting there.
You're saying back in the day?
I'm saying
When they
right
bought
now.
it? When they bought it.
No, I mean right now. It comes with the
I know
nukes.
people have been signed up there. They come back with some stories. It's not fun.
You will never
It's
have
not
the
fun,
quantity, quality, value of the work done by anyone else for a better price, and you will never be disappointed.
This guy.
3939. That's 39.
Sessions is
3939.
No, I'm talking the New York AG.
Oh, wow, what
What a pig. The guy is a complete pig, and he's a phony, and he's a fraud.
Absolutely.
It's
That's
just
what
crazy.
makes it the worst.
He beat these women.
Well, now
Did you see
instead
the
of saying
names?
role playing.
Yeah, but they said they weren't role playing. How's that role playing? I mean, come on, man. How's that role playing? She didn't understand her role. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
And he was big on the Me Too.
He called the one girl his brown slave.
It's probably not politically correct.
So, folks,
I mean, it's crazy.
But
he's the real crazy part. He's the holier than thou guy.
Right.
He's the guy that is going after all these people.
He went after, what's his name, the guy from Hollywood.
Weinstein.
Weinstein.
Can you imagine how that meeting went? Hey, listen,
Time changes everything.
I'm with you, but I gotta go
I
after you.
gotta go after. Nothing personal.
I understand.
I understand. Wink, wink.
I know. Hey, what you did was horrible. I mean, I can't believe the audacity of this guy.
Did you know Obama's daughter interned for Weinstein?
Mm-hmm. He was president, and they were visiting Martha's Vineyard. One of his daughters worked there, and it was either a hot dog or hamburger or something like that. Which is a trip because it makes no sense except for publicity in any which way.
Yeah. Put it on a
Secret
resume.
Service out there.
Oh,
Hot
yeah.
dog stand.
Can you imagine that? What it cost the government?
That's
for
what I
her
mean.
work
I
there?
found it weird.
But the news media didn't pick that up. Hey, this is costing every hot dog.
Obama treats his kids like every other person.
Well, if it's Pure Point Chevrolet, it's 57 years in business.
In fact, the Secret Service are probably cooking the hot dogs.
Credibility, integrity, ethics,
Should
great
just
people,
sell 'em.
great service. All you want is in a dealership. Pure Point Chevrolet, just up the road in Fort Lupton. Find new road.
Today is the day you break the stranglehold of addiction. You and your family
I met
can't
a
lose another
uniformed
precious
officer at the
baby.
Secret Service.
If you or someone you know is
He had
abusing
some interesting
alcohol,
stories.
prescription
Who did he
drugs,
want?
During
drugs,
Clinton?
During
mental
Clinton.
health issues.
Okay, what did he say about Hillary? I heard Hillary treated them like crap.
Please know
He
you're
really
not
was
alone.
lovely.
There's help.
That's what I
They say
heard.
the Bushes were the nicest people in the world.
That makes sense.
And Hillary Clinton.
Texas folk.
5559.
That's
That's
right.
720-898-5559.
Manners.
The Raleigh houses
I heard she would pass, and she actually told the Secret Service to get behind the curtain when she passes.
Oh,
She didn't want it.
some of that shit's got me.
And some of it is, or she would say, they say, "Good morning, Mrs. Clinton," and she'd go, "Fuck you." That's right. No, you probably have.
No,
better
get out of here. God, you're naive.
I believe her. I think she is a witch. Look at, Jax just said that, right?
Did you know that we never landed on the moon?
Okay, did they have stories like that, or couldn't you tell?
He couldn't really tell. I mean, I remember from my time the stories about the Looper. I mean, it's all.
The Looper was that guy?
Well, everyone has stories.
All right, 303-713-8255.
The only show of its kind, solve problems, answer questions. Give me something hard today, folks. I want to hear someone that got ripped off or where a contractor didn't show up. Or if you have any questions on any updates, anything we've ever talked about, 303-MARTINO, 303-713-8255. Suzanne, you had a question for Jack Lent. What is it?
So a guy in the building's going to refinish his basement. It's an unfinished basement. He's going to finish it. So it's in Douglas County, and he's pulling permits. They said the permit's only valid for 90 days, or the work has to be done within 90 days. So what does he do? Because it's going to take him more than 90 days to get the job done.
You know, we did ours in Castle Rock. You know how long our
Yeah.
basement took, Jack? And I'm not exaggerating.
A long time.
10 years. We framed it like in 2002 and finished it somewhere in 12 or 13. Go ahead, though.
It's tough. If he's in the county, they don't require contractor licensing.
Yeah,
they just require certain people to get the electrician and the plumber and the HVAC guy.
Yeah, but for the main permit to do the job, if he pulls it himself, is there an expiration of 90 days? I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of that. The typical permit is 6 months, and then you can get it extended when you don't get it done in time.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking
So
about.
then he needs to ask for an extension, it sounds like.
Well, if it truly is 90 days and he's not finished, yeah. Yeah, it's not like they're going to shut it
Well,
down.
he's listening, so good.
They wouldn't shut it down. I mean,
maybe if the homeowner pulls a permit and it's not a contractor, maybe there is
it
an
might be
expiration.
different. It might be a little bit different. I haven't pulled a homeowner permit, so I couldn't really advise on that. But.
Does that, do you ever go in to give bids and they want to pull the permit themselves, or do you get mostly, I don't want you to pull a permit?
Well, I will only do a job if I pull a permit.
Yeah.
And because I'm a licensed contractor, I'm the one.
Yeah, you're on the hook.
I'm on the hook.
Okay. Jim Caraway with K9 Masters. You guys train dogs. It's the Dog Academy. You guys are in Colorado Springs. I've got a question for you, and I don't want to sound like a fool.
Okay.
But I've always been told if a dog pees in the house, if you don't catch it while it's doing it, there's no purpose in rubbing its nose in it or swatting it or whatever, because even 2 minutes later, it forgets. Is that correct or not?
I agree.
You do agree?
Yeah.
So their memory is truly... Then let me ask you this. Am I crazy if there is a spot that my dog is like, knows that it's there? I see my dog do this. My Doberman's like 14 now, so she does have some accidents, and I swear she'll stay away from that spot. If I go over to it and go, what is this? She knows something's wrong. Is it just purely my attitude is what she's picking up on?
She's reading your body language and your voice.
So if I went over there...
she's in trouble, so she reacts to that. But does she remembers she did it, but she doesn't know
that it's bad.
That's what the correction's for.
Oh, okay. So she remembers.
Gap in time is a problem. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. She remembers.
They don't forget anything. I've seen through all the years I've been doing this, I believe the dog never forgets anything.
Well, I've seen my damn beagle dig up and bury the same bone all across 6 acres constantly.
Yeah.
How he remembers where the hell that bone is, I have no idea.
But I've seen him react to situations before that, you know, they're in that same situation 2 years later, and you can tell by their reaction they remember what happened.
How would you correct a dog jumping over a fence? When my Dobie was, you know, every Dobie I've owned, when they're, you know, a teenager, 2 years old, boy, they figure out they can jump almost anything.
That's really not a training issue. It's a containment issue.
Oh.
So either a taller fence or electricity.
Well, I could come up with that.
Well, yeah, but that's...
What am I paying you for?
You're not, because I wouldn't charge you to fix that.
Hey, Jim, why does our dog scratch its bed and tear it up like that? It's, you know, we've replaced so many beds.
Well, it's a primal thing, you know, when dogs
nesting.
Before they were domesticated, that's how they got their bed ready. You know, they scratch a little lay-down place and mash the grass down, and so that's basically, you know, it goes back in the day when that had a purpose, but the dog still does it.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. Robert, what's going on with you, sir?
I bought a car on March 22nd through CarHop, and I put $1,000 down on it, and I've paid 3 payments on time of $179, and it's been in the shop 3 times, and it's like not passing emissions, and there's like so much wrong with this car.
And you bought it on, hold on, a couple questions here, Robert. You bought it on March 22nd of this year, right?
3 payments don't add up for that.
Well, how much was your down payment?
It was $1,000.
So you put
it might have been 2 payments. I can check my bank statement.
Well, that's all right.
I made at least 2.
But that's all right. So did it have an emissions test, a current one, when you bought it? Did they give you a ticket or a voucher to go get one done?
Yeah, they gave me the voucher.
And then you went out within the 3 days?
Yeah, I went the very next morning.
I got to tell you, so far, excellent. So you go the next morning and it fails, right?
Yes.
And then you bring it back, and what do they do the first time? Or do they take it and they've had it since?
No, they had me take it to a shop, and then it sat in the shop for like a week, and then they told me they were waiting for a certain part, and they told me that I could like pick it up if I wanted to.
What is this place called? CarHop?
Yeah, CarHop. It's like for people who have like
buy here,
so good credit.
Here's what sucks about this. They need to take this car back. If it hasn't passed emissions, you did everything you're supposed to. Have you asked them, I want a different car, or I want a refund, I want my money back?
Well, yeah, and this is where the real issue comes in. They're like refusing to talk to me. They're rude to me. They hang up on me. I sent an email, and one lady keeps telling me that it's not their problem. And I sent an email to
What do you mean they're telling you
office.
it's not? See, this is where I try to maintain, because I'm taking you at your word right now, Robert. And I've learned sometimes people that call in lie. Yeah, imagine that. We've seen it all. So I'm assuming that you absolutely, if I look at the paperwork, in fact, I'm going to have you send Suzanne some stuff. I want to see the actual contract with the date on it. And then, do you have the failed emissions test, or did you give them all that paperwork?
I should have it somewhere.
Okay. They need to handle this. This is not good. In fact, CarHop, let's call them, Deputy Dan, I want you to call them the second we go to break and see what the hell they're talking about on this. Because they simply can't do this. If it doesn't pass, they've got to take the car back. And the fact the guy hasn't had it now, March, April, May, what, 2.5 months, 2 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, is that how long it's been?
Yeah, my plates expire May 25th.
You mean your temp plates?
Yeah, my temp plates.
And what are they going to say right now? It's going to be fixed? You know what? I wouldn't care if it's going to be fixed. They've had this thing too long.
It's still in the shop. The guy called me yesterday, and he said it's been in the shop for a week, and he's like, I haven't heard back from CarHop.
What do you think's wrong with it?
Well, when I took it to the first shop, there was 2 Cadillac converters gone on
Cadillac.
it.
Oh.
That's big bucks, man.
Big bucks.
And then
what kind of car is it, by the way, Robert?
It's a 2008 Suzuki XL7. It's an SUV.
It's that big sucker, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a huge oil leak in it. The hazard lights don't work.
Listen, man,
it's like,
you've got to valid out, which is going to be the emissions route. The other stuff is they okey-doked you. I mean, but you have a valid out, so let's not even care about an oil leak right now. They can't get this thing to pass. And I bet you they looked up, how much did you pay for this? I'm sure it's outrageous, but how much is the whole contract?
It's originally $9,000, but with the interest rate, it's like $12,000.
Well, I don't care about that. That's because your credit, you got yourself into that. But the $9,000 you paid for it, think about this, Dan. Those cats on there, first of all, I doubt you can go buy a lot of those aftermarket.
Right.
It's not like every other car cruising down the streets, a 08 XL7 by Suzuki. In fact, there wasn't even really a lot of them. You might as well have a Samurai. So here's the issue. They probably realize how much this is to repair. I wonder...
Well, it's illegal to sell a car without them. You said they're missing?
No, he says it was failing and they needed new ones.
Okay.
All right, let's do this. You're going to go call them. We've got to get to the bottom of this. CarHop. Are they in Colorado Springs or here in Denver?
It's Denver, the one on Havana.
All right.
In Aurora.
All right, you hang tight, man. You hang tight. You've called the right place. I'm going to help you. We're going to get through this one, and we're going to get through to them quick. All right, let's talk about buy and build. Kitchen cabinets. I'm going to tell you everything they have. Then I'm going to tell you the kind of prices they have. You ready? This is crazy. I've actually seen a hot tub there. If you go down into their ugly basement, and it is ugly, there's no doubt. They have all kinds of lighting fixtures. They have all kinds of faucet sinks. They've got vessel sinks. I saw a mahogany wood sink that you would put in a big entryway for like $400. These things would sell for thousands of dollars anywhere else. Storage cabinets, bathroom vanity cabinets, bar cabinets, kitchen cabinets, toilets, bathtubs, shower enclosures. They've got everything. Over 10,000 square feet of flooring. Solid wood, engineered hardwood, laminates, tile, carpet. You getting the idea? If you're doing any project, Jack's here in studio with me. Jack, have you ever been down to Buy and Build?
My last 2 bathrooms.
From Buy and Build. How much do you think, and this is, I'm asking Jack right now, how much do you think your customer or you saved compared to if you've got similar or the same exact thing from Lowe's, Home Depot, any of the big boxes?
I'd say it's about half the material price.
Easily.
But not only that, it's solid plywood cabinetry, not the particle board stuff.
It's not the crap.
The crap that you buy at
I got to tell you, these guys kick butt. They kick butt. Simple as that. Buy and Build, 4800 Washington Street, 303-295-6022. But make it easier on yourself. Go to buyandbuild.net, buyandbuild.net. You got to check them out.
All right, Dan, get to the bottom of these. This is bullshit, man. If make sure this guy's not lying when you talk to them, though. We've had outrageous ones where I go off, and next thing I know, they're like, I'll tell you the one that killed me. That's why you'll generally always hear Tom and myself ask when. Because like he said, what did he say? May? March. We had one lady say in February, blah, blah, blah. Well, it was like February 2010. It was 8 years ago. And so we call up the business, what is this kind of crap? They're like, well, That was, we pulled the ticket, that was in 2010. We didn't even own the company then. It's been through 3 different hands, blah, blah, blah.
I don't remember this happening, but I know they're talking about Adeline. This was last night.
Well, how was she driving?
Because I drove her car to yoga, then I picked her up at tutoring in Elizabeth.
Well, how did she drive then?
She drove us home in her little Hyundai.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You are getting...
This is somebody posting on our neighborhood website. But I don't remember her being bad like that last night. But I assume they're talking about her when they say little blue Hyundai, the timing is on.
Well, you would have known. You were in the car, is my only point. You would know if it was crazy.
I'm not paying attention to anyone behind us. She does slow down a little too quick. You know what I mean? She's slowing down before you get in the left lane to turn. I think that's
well, you know what? These people need to learn how to fucking not follow that close.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't care who it was. You tell them to call in right now.
A neighborhood website?
Yeah, we're out in the country, man. You would be surprised. You would be surprised. We had one poor guy. We had a bear running around. And I never saw it. But he made the comment on Facebook that he was going to shoot the bear because he was actually from Texas, just moved up to Franktown. And the bear was out in his property. He grabs his shotgun. This is all secondhand. This is really according to him. He never shot at the bear, but he basically posted on the Facebook page that if the bear came any closer, he's going to kill it. He's afraid it's going to get to his chickens or whatever it was. So, the next thing you know, about a week goes by, there's a little mini protest in front of his property out there. Some of the other neighbors got together. We've got neighbors that go, hey, you know, these houses were built in the forest. You know, we don't kill animals around here. The animals will hear first, blah, blah, blah. Well, I got to say, if there's a bear coming up and it's truly endangering me or my family, there ain't nobody ain't going to shoot the bear. But I couldn't believe the outrage from that Facebook post, that same one she's talking about. There was like a little, oh man, it was like a picket line out there. Get out of here, go back to Texas. It was crazy.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, it was crazy. It became the whole deal.
Wow.
But we got wild turkeys. Right now the wild turkeys are everywhere.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, the wild turkeys actually are pretty cool.
They are.
But between them and the deer, I still don't understand. These things have been around, especially the deer. They've been around cars now in the neighborhood forever. They still don't look both ways. It's absolutely mind-blowing to me.
They just don't get it.
I almost hit a deer going to Walkenberg one day. I was going down I-25 from Colorado Springs. My girlfriend next to me, my best friend from school, she said, I need some music. Anyway, I was trying to find a radio station.
Deer. And you're on the highway.
Yeah, and I'm driving. And I'm in the left-hand lane because I see these cars, you know, I'm trying to pass. And she goes, deer! I'm going, first thing I did is I looked up in my rearview mirror to see who was behind me. And I started pumping my brakes so they know I was going to stop. And I came within that deer.
It's muscle
and it just
memory.
stood there and just looked at me like.
You never know what they're going to do.
And this car saw me braking, and they went on the other side of me. That deer could have hopped over.
You see a lot of accidents like that when you were with the state?
Adeline actually remembers it. She says, yes, it was because I stopped because there was a truck coming in to turn off the main road. She says, I want to reply to this first.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
A half winger on Highway 86. Draft horse. Weird thing was with the 350.
Her blinker should have been on a long time before that turn. All right, 303-713-8255. Very easy. Deputy Dan, did we call Car Hop? And if so,
what did Car Hop have to say? They sold this guy a 2008 XL7 Suzuki. He brings it in to get the emissions test. By the way, you got 3 days. They give you a voucher. If you do it within 3 days and it doesn't pass, they either got to make it pass or they got to refund the money, sir.
So she didn't give me the whole details, but there was details, and they're going to try. He's going to try to get the salesman to call the show.
I don't want to talk to. Okay, that's fine. The salesman wants custom. I want to talk to the owner. I don't care about the salesman. The salesman sold him a 2008 XL7 for $9,000.
Right. So he was out changing a battery, so she's going to get with him and see if he'll call in. I'll try calling him next break,
All right,
too.
well, we've got an hour to go, so hopefully they do call.
Yep.
And if we don't hear from them on the next break, I want you to go call them again.
I will.
Because who I want to talk to is either the general manager or the owner. What's going on over there? Do you want to lose your license, Car Hop? Have you heard of these guys? I think here's the problem. I'm getting them confused in my brain with CarMax, which we never have complaints on. Car Hop's a whole different thing. It's a buy here, it's a pay there, it's a whatever. It's like Thunderdome. It's like Thunderdome walking into there. You don't know what's going to happen. We have had complaints on Car Hop before. 303-713-8255. Am I in trouble? I see our... see, okay. Suzanne, what is Tim saying? Am I in trouble?
No, you are not.
Thank goodness. See, Tim, I don't get in trouble. You know this. Our program director's given me the stink eye. But that's all right.
And that is a stink eye.
That is. 303-713-8255. Who's next on here? Young lady, Suzanne, who's next on here? All right, I'm just going to go to Thomas. Thomas, what's going on, sir?
Oh, thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
Yeah, I bought a brand new Toyota Camry last summer, or actually this time of year, and I had a little hail damage last summer. It's very light, and I finally took it in to get an estimate. I took it to a place that specializes in dents, and what they told me was that the car shows signs that it had been repaired for hail damage before.
But it wasn't, as far as you know.
As far as it's a brand new car. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I understand,
right.
But some dealers sell, after a hailstorm goes through a dealership, they'll sell brand new hail-damaged vehicles. You didn't buy one of these. You bought this thing, and there was no problems with it.
Correct.
Okay, so...
It was not disclosed to me.
You know who would be able to help us with this? Because we have two things here. Either the dealership put the okie doke on them and sold them something that had some hail, and, you know, they didn't fix it perfectly, or else no one else would have saw it, or the insurance company is basically giving you the runaround. What do you think it is, first of all?
Well, the place that gave me the estimate, they're not familiar with the insurance company.
Yeah,
they are the ones that ran the VIN.
Yeah, the guy just told me it just shows signs of pop-up marks.
Okay, but hold on. Suzanne confused me, which happens a lot. What did you mean by this VIN?
That's what I assumed, that when he told me that it had hail damage before, I assumed that the body shop it was at ran the VIN or Carfax and saw that.
But that's
My bad.
That's all right. Thomas, that isn't the case, correct?
That's not the case.
Okay, so
he just told me,
let's get Nick. Here's what I would like. What area are you in?
I'm in Fort Collins.
Actually, that's not going to be too bad. Nick, I can't think of his last name, but he's on our referral list. Yahtzee.
Yeah,
at
from Flexident.
Flexident. This guy is unbelievable at paintless dent repair. If anybody can look at that vehicle and tell us what's old, what's new, what's been paid for before, what's been attempted to be fixed, or there's nothing, it's all from the same storm, he's going to be able to do it. So how about we line you up, he's not going to charge you a nickel, and let's see what he has to say. Then we create our next step.
That's funny because the guy that just looked at its name is Nick.
What company?
Dent Masters.
No, it's definitely not this Nick. I guess, yeah. So I really want you to look at this, but is your insurance company denying it altogether, or you haven't even got that far?
No, they looked at it last week, and they gave me what they believe was a settlement.
Yeah.
Or it's in the mail.
Okay, and how much was it?
It was like $2,500.
And what kind of estimates are you getting?
Right at about that. The first estimate was that.
Okay, well, hold on a second then. I guess I'm not even understanding the issue. Maybe I jumped this. I want you to hold on, Thomas. I got to get to the bottom of exactly what he's saying. And what I mean by that is if they gave him $2,500 and it's going to be $2,500 to fix it, Deputy Dan, what am I missing?
I think what he's saying is this car, when he bought it, had hail damage that they fixed prior to this.
That's because this one guy named Nick said it, not our Nick, but the other Nick. So we do. We need to have our Nick look at it, because if that dealership did do that, That's not good whatsoever. Let's find out what dealership that is. 303-713-8255. One line open. Chad, Robert, Thomas. Hang on. I'm Mark Major. This is the Troubleshooter Network.
Do they have to disclose it? Or do they just paintless deck on a new vehicle?
Oh my God, they can't sell you a new vehicle that's had over like $50 worth of work without disclosing it.
Okay. So Suzanne's on that. I'll try calling them again.
Yeah, I want to talk to the car hop.
Yeah. And there's a certain point they have to change the title to a salvage title for a certain amount of damage, right?
Only if it's salvaged. Hail almost will never salvage it. I mean, you'd have to have basketballs size hail. But no, hail won't. But, man, I'd never buy a car with hail damage. You know, okay, I guess if I was buying a farm truck and I was going to keep it forever and I could care less about the hail and it was brand new and I was saving a lot. But if any hail ever happens in the future, man, and you didn't have it fixed or anything, you're screwed. You're going to pay for full coverage and never receive full coverage because the vehicle's already damaged.
I wonder how often dealerships actually do this.
We've seen a lot where they do.
Something's new, never tell anybody.
Yeah, I mean, little scratches and stuff, no big deal. But when you start talking hail damage, that's kind of weird.
President Trump about to announce his decision.
Oh yeah, here we go. What do you guys think? Does he pull out?
Yeah.
I'll tell you one of the reasons I really think he's going to pull out is because that Kerry was walking around. Trump pulls out, it's done. Trump pulls out of Iran deal.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
That Iran is in compliance with the JCPOA. The president believes, A, that Iran is cheating, and says that evidence and intelligence...
Plus, it was a big campaign promise, you guys remember.
Iran had a clandestine...
He doesn't get more money for this wall soon. He'll be out there. He'll hire his own contractors and start building it. Oh, man, he pulled out. Trump pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing. What sucks is I'm going to go look at the stock market. They're going to overreact, but it'll only be for a day.
Thomas says Flexident's too far. He really just wants to know what his rights are.
Well, we don't know if that's true or not.
Assuming it's true. He wanted to know what his rights are as far as... He's going to have to prove it. That's...
If he could,
The guy waited 6 months to get it done?
No, but he's saying, here's the problem.
Evidence
he could have had multiple hailstorms in 6 months.
No, but he's saying that the guy now is saying there's evidence that there's been hail damage that's been fixed in the past on this vehicle.
And they didn't fix it. Like Nick, when he does paintless dent repair, you'd never know in a million years. There's no way to know. Unless if you looked, and you could see where the little holes were drilled.
Maybe I just get Nick on the phone.
Yeah, get Nick in. Perfect. Get Nick on the phone.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Brent Ivenson's on broadband for his life. Cool. Coming back from the top. I will call Nick Yassi.
Yeah, big deal. See, I knew it wouldn't overreact. Everybody's used to Trump. Everybody's starting to understand that he's not your normal politician. They're starting to understand how he reacts. When he first got in office, man, like he'd mention Amazon and Amazon stock would go down. I'm going to go after Amazon. Well, he can't go after Amazon. He's not the king. What do you say?
Aaron is the general manager.
Yep.
And he's with a customer right now. So I just talked to another guy and I says, okay, Janine's got all the information. We want him to call in.
Okay.
You go to their website and they don't have any prices on any of the cars.
I know. I know.
Is this car?
If you walk in, you could buy it for $1,000. If she walked in, it might be $2,000. If he walked in, it could be $4,000.
They're going to clean and slot the best they can.
They'll clean one of the. Yeah, they'll do what they can. And those places don't like cash deals. They make all their money on the financing.
Yeah.
They take. I've seen some of these places. I had an employee at one of my Goodyears, John Ryan. In fact, he got into a lot more trouble later on. But I watched this dude get his. If he was one day late on a payment, he'd get his vehicle repossessed. They had a tracker in there, so they knew where it was. They'd come get it. Then, in order to get it back, he'd have to pay $700 for the repo. They own the repo truck. So they were making, basically $700, every time they'd repo it, then you'd get it back and it'd be repoed. And I kept thinking, my God, they make nothing off. None of it matters. It's the interest rate and the repo and the fees and everything. And then finally, when someone can't afford to get it back after the repo and pay their late payments, what do? They sell it to someone else and start this. It's a circular cycle. Yeah, I saw it was on Drudge.
You're talking about car hop, drive time's just bad.
Drive time, we don't get a lot of them. I know what you had on car hop.
Have you ever wanted to
They are big, aren't they?
but didn't want to start a new 30-year loan all over again? Hey, it's Ross Kaminsky for my friends at American
What is
Finance.
someone look up DTI trucks for me.
When refinancing to eliminate mortgage insurance, lower your rate, or consolidate high-interest debt, you don't have to worry about resetting your loan term. Because
I
of
had a
American
Shih Tzu.
Financing, they offer 10, 13,
That dog would eat her own feces. I hate that. It was the craziest shit I've ever seen in the world.
There's dogs that do that.
Finally the vet, it was just so disgusting, finally the vet gave us this powder to put on her food, and that did stop it, but what a pain in the ass.
That didn't always work.
It's all commercial trucks.
Okay. And we'll customize the right program.
Oh, so they sell trucks. It's a deal. See, what are the ratings and stuff?
Get started now.
Yelp reviews, do they look straight up?
That's 303-695-7000 or online at AmericanFinancing.net.
NMLS 182334, regulated by the Division of Real Estate.
I'm consumer advocate Tom Martino for Larson Tax Relief.
3.5
fighting for
reviews.
consumers for
3.5
30
stars.
years in all areas of the business state.
It's not bad. That ain't bad.
I refer them to Larson Tax Relief
When
with
you
your
say-
back taxes.
Yeah,
and
they
it's
got
been years
looks like
since you
mostly good
filed.
reviews.
These
I've
guys are the best. They're smart. They have a fantastic team of experts that will understand your situation. Their name
So I've heard dogs eat their poop because there's still
food left in it.
Will get you the absolute
Exactly what I
protein, but
resolution.
it's a hygiene
Worry
thing.
about your wages being
And
garnished or losing.
Some dogs just don't, I had a German Shepherd, he was great, he was my demo dog. Fully protected trained, it was always be one turn and just run. When it got dry, you go through right then. There's nothing I could do to stop.
I'll do Pro Auto first.
Or if there's like a dead animal, they'll lay in.
No, that's different. That's to cover the sin.
Oh, okay.
I need somebody.
Now, Tom Martino on 630 KHOW.
Help me if you can, I'm feeling down. And I do appreciate you.
Welcome to the show, the only show of its kind where we solve problems, we answer questions, we take complaints, we get directly involved in your life. And man, do we have a lot going on. We've got a problem with DTI trucks. We've got a problem with a hail damage car I'm trying to get to the bottom of. We've got Deputy Dan now trying to get through to this car hop place. They sold this poor guy a vehicle. He went to get the emissions test done the very next day, which is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get it done within 3 days when you get that voucher. And don't be confused. The dealer has to give you a voucher if you're in the state of Colorado and in an emissions zone like Douglas County, Arapahoe County, pretty much Denver Metro. They have to give you one, and it's got to pass. It wouldn't pass, and they've had the vehicle pretty much ever since. Poor Robert can't even drive his car. Deputy Dan's looking into that. But I want to talk real quick to Brent Ivinson with Ideal Home Loans, and I want to tell you why. Brent, I understand people are looking at shorter-term loans, and I understand why. They want to pay their house off quicker, but do they generally get a better interest rate with a shorter-term loan? In other words, does a 15-year mortgage have a better interest rate than a 30?
You know, it does, and here's why. When you look at these loans, from a lending perspective, they look at it as a less risky proposition. So the shorter the term, the lower the interest rate. And what we're seeing right now again and again is a number of people have decided, you know what, I'm going to stay in the house I'm in, I want to pay it off. And here's the great thing. You can go to a shorter term mortgage, get out of your 30-year loan that you're in today, and you're not going to spend double what you're paying right now. You typically spend slightly more than what you're paying every month on your current 30-year mortgage, but in doing so, you're saving yourself well over 6 figures in payments and interest by going to a shorter-term mortgage. And with rates still at good levels, It's a great time to take advantage, and you can lock into a fixed payment, and you don't have to worry about it, and get ahead by paying your house off more quickly.
You know, I want to do a quick example here. So I just popped up a mortgage calculator. So I just put in generic numbers. So $250,000 at 3.92, and I'm just pulling this interest rate from, you know, anywhere. On a 30-year, the total cost of that mortgage on a 30-year is $425,000. If I do the same interest rate on a 15-year, it's $330. You save almost $100,000. Own your house 15 years quicker. How about if they wanted a 10-year mortgage?
Yeah, even better. I mean, your rates are even better on those, and that's the thing. You know, and you and I have talked about this, and I know it's something you've taken advantage of. I've done the same thing. You got to look at the fact that, hey, right now when you can get such competitive interest rates on shorter term loans, and that makes up a big differential in that payment. That's why the payment's not so much higher. It's only slightly higher than what you're paying right now on your 30-year mortgage.
Yeah, it's crazy. Brent, you guys do such a great job down there. We get all kinds of kudos on you all the time. Folks, if you're looking to buy your first house, you're looking to refi, get your house paid off, get rid of credit card debt, you name it, get your ideal home loan. 303-867-7000, 303-867-7000. That's Brent Ivinson and Ideal Home Loans. They're great people down there. And if you just, I do that a lot. Just go to Google, look at mortgage calculators, or even if you're trying to pay a car off. If you have a car loan that's 7 years because you wanted low payments and you're 3 years into it, I mean, Brent's not going to do that for you. They're not going to do a car loan. But what I'm saying is you can reshop it in a credit union. A mortgage calculator, if you actually look at the money you can save, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. By the way, in studio with me, Jack Lent with Lent Construction. Jack, what's that new website you have? You specialize in basements. It's Best Denver Basements? What is it?
It's Best Basements Denver. Real easy to remember.
I was so close. I was halfway there. Best Basements Denver.
Easy to remember, easy to find my website and get information about what I do and how I price things. And
he prices things like this. I'll put it simple. If he comes over and you have a basement that you want to remodel, he's going to say, hey, do you want to basically do it builder grade? Do you want to do anything fancy down here? Kind of give me an idea of what you want. And by the way, none of this costs you anything. And then he'll go through and say, okay, if we use this kind of style cabinets and this kind of shower enclosure and this kind of toilet and this kind of this and this and this, or if we do a bedroom compared to just a big game room, if you want a bar here, he'll break it down. And he's going to tell you what everything costs. I mean, I'm not talking down to the screw or down to the 2x4, but you're going to tell him everything.
I'm going to tell him everything, and there's not going to be any surprises from when the project starts to when the project...
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you take for a down payment, and how do you justify that, or do you not take a down payment?
I usually take a 25% down payment.
And what's that for? Is that going to be for your design work? What is that for? Are you going to order materials, have them delivered?
I do the process of billing in stages. So the first step is the design work, the drawings, and then the framing and all the rough-ins.
Perfect.
And the next stage...
So the 25% basically covers that first stage.
Correct.
And then when you get to that milestone or the end of that, then it's time for another payment.
Correct.
And then can people use a credit card? They better be able to.
Of course.
Okay, good. So if there ever is an issue, I say that all the time. I mean... You know, it doesn't matter if they're on a referral list or not. If they're on the referral list, we have some teeth here. In fact, we got a lot of teeth compared to the other lists out there. But my point is, if you use a credit card and someone never shows back up, you're going to have a protection there. All right, so let's do this. I want to go back and finish up with Thomas. Thomas, your main question to me, and I got off on something else. You bought a car. You bought it a while back, 6 months ago, a year ago, whatever it was. You had a hailstorm. You finally brought it in to get it, and whoever looked at it said, it looks like this car had prior hail damage, so you think the dealership sold you a vehicle that actually had prior hail damage, right?
That's correct, yes.
Well, you're going to have to prove it, and if there was an issue there, yeah, you do have it. You do have different things you can do. Yes, they can't do that. They can't have a lot of damage to a vehicle and sell it to you without disclosing it on the new vehicle. You did not buy it as is. You bought it if it was brand new, and they never said anything about hail damage, and it did. You do have there is remedies out there.
Okay.
That's it. But you got to figure that out first, and you got to prove it. What happens if they said it didn't? Then it must have had a little hail damage, and he fixed it. I mean, how do you prove something that long ago? That's really what I'm asking you. How would you do it?
Well, I don't know. like you said, I think, or somebody mentioned it, the car has a VIN number. All the records are associated with the VIN number.
No, because if I was a dealer and I was going to do something like that, I'd have, you know, the guy down the street do it or my own body shop do it. You wouldn't report that on the VIN number. They're not crazy.
Exactly. So I suspect this isn't the first time they've done that. Would you?
I have no idea. What dealer is it?
It's Peterson in Fort Collins.
Yeah, I'm not, I mean, we don't, when's the last complaint we've had on them, Deputy Dan? I mean, I don't even remember.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, I mean, I just haven't heard of them. If they were truly doing this, we would have heard of them. Not saying they couldn't have done it to you, I don't know, but I'm just telling you, we've never heard of anything about them. Let me do this, hold on. I want to talk to Nick on a referral list. Hold on, because here's what I really want to figure out. Hey, Nick, what's going on, man?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. In fact, Thomas, do me a favor, call back. When I picked up on Nick, Dan dropped you on accident. So, hey, Nick, this guy thinks it's possible that when he purchased the car from a dealer brand new, that they had a hailstorm or had hail damage on the vehicle and repaired it. He then went through a hailstorm, brought it to some other place to get an estimate and to get it fixed. And that's when this guy that did the paintless dent repair, or at least gave him the estimate, basically said, hey, it looks like you've had prior damage. Am I correct in saying if that had been, let's say it was on the roof, and, you know, I'm assuming, Dan accidentally hung up on him. I'm assuming that it was on the roof. If it was, wouldn't you see the little holes you guys drill somewhere in order to get in there and fix it?
Well, not a lot of times. I mean,
no.
I don't drill holes when I repair them, but what it is, I mean, the dealerships can get hail damage, and then if there's not a certain amount of damage, they don't put it on their insurance, and then you're not going to be able to find out that, you know, run a Carfax or...
They still, I agree with you 100%, but they still got to tell you about it. They need to disclose that.
Yes, they should have disclosed it for sure.
So if you looked at it, would you be able to tell one way or another if it's been fixed? In fact, let me phrase this in a different way. If you fixed a car and you were done and you think you did a perfect job, would someone else be able to tell that you ever did it, or you simply would never know?
No, I mean, there's certain ways. If you got a guy that's in the industry, I mean, you're going to see maybe a little wallowed hole or a little scratch or something that, you know, it's not through the metal, but just a
You'd
surface
see
scratch.
It. Thomas, where did this guy think that damage was?
On the roof.
See,
he told me that it looks like they didn't take their time on it, and he sees pull marks on it.
Yeah, it could be. A lot of dealerships will just, you know, hire the cheapest guy they can get just to put them out. So.
But Thomas, if they're willing to fix it for the $2,500 you got for the insurance claim that you did, I mean, really, what do you care?
Yeah.
Well, I bought a car that I thought was brand new.
Yeah, but you're pretty much whole at this point. Well, it is brand new because it has hail.
I wouldn't have bought it if I knew it had hail damage.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I can see his point. I mean, they should have disclosed it.
Well, they definitely should have disclosed it, but I'm going, okay, what are the damages now? I mean, they might get in trouble if you could prove it with the dealer licensing board. They might get in other trouble, but what is his actual damages?
Yeah, I mean...
I'm asking myself. I'm really trying to think through, what would you even go after him for? I mean, I just don't know.
Is the car worth less?
No, it wouldn't be worth less because it's not on the Carfax. If it was on the Carfax, you could argue that. Absolutely, you could argue that.
Yeah.
But that's not the case here. Are you going to get the hail damage from the storm fixed?
Most likely, yes.
Well, I mean, if you don't do that, you have no argument here, because they're going to argue, my God, it already has hail damage right now.
Is he in possession of the vehicle?
I do.
If you want, you can run it by, and I can kind of take a look at it. Has the hail been repaired from this last time?
It has not yet, no.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to swing it by to me, I can kind of take a look at it.
Maybe Nick, too, will fix it cheaper, fix the other stuff and fix those for less than what you got from the insurance. I don't know.
There you go. I could probably work a deal with you.
Nick, Thomas, he would, too, man. I'd take it up. He's the best. He's worked on my kid's car not long ago. But anyhow, awesome. Nick Yutzi, Flexident, 303-582-5770. Thomas, give him a call. And if he goes down there and he says the same thing as this other guy, maybe we'll call over there to that dealer for you. But once again, I'm not quite sure what your damages are. I just don't see them. Thank you, gentlemen. 303-713-8770. 8255. Suzanne, you can clear those. Robert, what's going on with you?
He's the car hop guy. I just spoke with car hop, so I have an update for you. I haven't had a chance to tell you that.
Then let's do this. Let's do this. Let me put him on hold. We've got a couple lines open, 303-713-8255, 303-713-8255. K&H Home Solutions, Windows, 25% off. Right now, you got to call. You got to say it's on here. These guys have been around forever. Ted and the gang down there. I want to say I sold Ted computers in '95 for K&H Windows. That's a long time ago. He's been on the referral list from basically day one. In fact, he's probably been the longest window company on there. In fact, I know he is. You know, the windows they sell are durable. They're energy efficient. They're made to the exact specs that K&H wants a manufacturer to make. They're custom fit, lifetime durability. Of course, they're waterproof. Their siding stuff is unbelievable. But the really cool part right now is you can save a lot of money. You give them a call at 303-421-7100. You know, we talk about companies a lot, not just specials, but companies that are around. A company that you have problem with the siding, if you have problems with the windows later on, they're going to be there, and they're going to be there to fight, and they're going to be there to warranty it, and if they have to go to the manufacturer, they're going to take care of it. But that's the whole thing. You want a good company, and this one is proven to us. They're going to be around a long, long time. K&H Home Solutions, you can check them out at khwindows.com, khwindows.com, 303-421-7100 for windows, siding, doors, and more. K&H has what you're looking for.
This report is brought to you by Lowe's.
As Lunch Rush gets underway on this Tuesday.
See how I rhyme that, bro? Take notes. Take notes. I can't wait to hear this update.
Yeah, she told me. I don't want to spoil it.
She told you?
Yeah.
Is it a good update?
Well,
all right. Yeah. Don't tell me.
Pothole repairs. The weather forecast: sunny today, beautiful, a high of 81. Right now, a few clouds above and 67.
I got in a little trouble in Vegas years and years ago. And I was thinking of the sealed record stuff we were talking about. I got it deferred. Everything was gone in 1 year. They said the only place it would ever show up, and this is baffling to me. No, it would show up nowhere criminally. But if I ever applied for a gaming license, it would come up. So their gaming shit is more important than anything. I mean, isn't that crazy?
Is gaming license here, or is gaming license
in Nevada? Like if I was going to open up a casino. Okay. They said that's the only place that's not sealed. Isn't that wild?
And it really wasn't too much trouble you got into.
No.
Don't use that story. I bought that story from you.
I was in, where was Katrina? Oh, I was in New Orleans. Me and Dan steal each other's stories.
He's got better stories.
I definitely have better stories.
Real or?
Oh, they're real. They're all too real. I was returning my pants one time to the store, and I'm running down the road, and I fall into a mud puddle with the exact pants I was wearing to go return. So now I had to return them, and there's mud all over.
That's a Seinfeld story.
So wait, you were wearing the pants you were going to return?
Great story.
What were you going to do?
I don't know.
Michael Brown.
Afternoons 4 to 7. Hillary Clinton said that she considered leaving the country after losing the 2016 election. You know what? She still has that option.
Oh, man.
All those people, yeah, all those people that said that.
I'm going to go to Canada, I'm going to go to here, I'm going to go to there. Yeah.
They didn't know, did they?
Go on.
You know, we talk about companies with heritage. That's why I love Alaramas and Pro Auto Care. I'm going to give you a good special at the end of this spiel, but, you know, Al's been around 25 years. His kids work down there. He's got 2 locations. He can do anything, and I mean anything the dealerships do, outside of course, warranty items. But if you need that 30,000-mile service or 60 to keep your warranty intact, he's going to do it way cheaper than any dealer. They can't void the warranty. They can't. The dealers or manufacturers can't do anything like that. He's going to do it cheaper. He's going to do it faster. He's going to do it better. And if you bring it in for a service like that, he'll even get you a Lyft or an Uber, but I think he uses Lyft to get you home or to get you over to the mall or to get you shopping so you don't have to sit around there and wait. He'll actually pay for the lift. These guys are great at Pro Auto. If you need work done, anything. I mean, they'll do an alternator. They'll do brake jobs. They'll do an entire engine. They'll do a rebuild. They'll do transmission work. They do tires. They're the real deal. It's Pro Auto, and it's very easy. 303proauto.com, 303ProAuto. Suzanne, text them. Tell them 5 callers today. I'm going to get real aggressive on this. 5 callers only. First 5, Pro Pack, $26.95. Al's going to be upset at me, but we'll do it. Just the first 5, though. And I mean that. What the Pro Pack is, you're going to get wiper blades, you're going to get an oil change, you're going to get all the fluids topped off under the hood, and they're going to do an inspection for you. They're going to do the whole deal for that price. First 5 only. 303-PRO-AUTO, 303proauto.com. Yes, Suzanne.
So I spoke with Car Hop for line 2, Robert.
Let me update everybody. So Car Hop, Robert called in, says he bought a car. Bottom line, they gave him an emissions certificate to go get it done. He does it on time. The very next day, it fails. Basically, you put $1,000 down. He's been paying about $179 a month. It's been months. What says Car Hop?
So Aaron called. He was really nice. He was pretty straightforward, I felt, Mark. He said, look, the first shop that we had looking at this is giving us the runaround. We stopped using them for other customers as well. We got another shop to look at it, put fresh eyes on it, says it needs a diag, number 3 coil harness, valve cover gaskets, intake gaskets should be done in a few days and good to go. If it's not, they'll figure out how to make it right.
Well, how are they going to do? Here's what I want then. Deputy Dan or Suzanne, I want them to say if he doesn't have it back passing emissions by Friday, that they're going to give him his money back.
I said to him, I said, look, I mean, you're going to undo the deal if this doesn't work. He sort of indicated yes. He's like, we'll do what we need to do to make it right or get him into a different vehicle.
Robert, what do you think of that?
I kind of don't want that.
You know what? I agree with Robert. I think Car Hop is really putting the crap on him. And I mean that. He bought it. It's supposed to pass. It's not passing. I want him to let him out of this deal. This is crap. It's been 2 or 3 months. Tell him we'll get with the dealer board if he wants to play those games. In fact, Deputy Dan...
the muscle call.
Yeah, you know what, Dan? Call back on there. And you know what? Let's see what they say. This is BS. They don't have to do this. Robert doesn't have to put up with that. He bought it. They sold it. It doesn't pass emissions. This isn't Colorado Springs where there's no emissions. It has to pass emissions. They've had plenty of time to do it. In fact, do me a favor. Let's see if we can get Norris on. I want to ask Norris a few questions about this. 303-713-8255. We've got some lines open. Now I'm all fired up. You know what? I agree with him. I don't care how nice the Car Hop guy was. That's crazy. This guy hasn't had a car for 2 months. $1,000 down. They're already taking advantage of him, in my opinion, with a high interest rate, an overpriced car, and then not to have it, and it doesn't even pass emissions. You can't sell a car in Denver Metro that doesn't pass emissions. It doesn't matter if you're an individual. It doesn't matter if you're a used car dealer, a buy here, pay there. It doesn't matter. You can't do it, Car Hop. God. Just, you can't do it. This is so basic. And they're treating it like, they're treating this guy like crap. You know, and I think it sucks. Because here's what happens at the buy here, pay here places. And this just isn't Car Hop. And this is my opinion. Here's what happens. They take advantage because they know there's nothing else you can do. You pay the 18%. You get it repoed if you miss a payment. They put a tracker in there. They sell it to you at a high price. They take advantage because they know your credit sucks. And the reason your credit sucks is probably your own fault. But that doesn't mean you can sell a guy a car that should pass emissions and it doesn't. Dave, what's going on with you?
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
My predicament here is I am getting evicted from the apartment building I've lived at for 3 years.
What's your lease?
My lease, you mean dollar amount? Or?
No, I mean, when was your lease up? Did you have a 1 year, then it went to a 30-day? What is it?
Well, I've always been on a year lease.
Okay.
They're saying I have to be out June 30th.
So the lease is up June 30th?
I believe it is, yes.
And if they're not renewing it and it's up, it sucks you got to move, but what do you expect me to do?
Well, here's the deal. I worked for these guys as a patrolman last summer.
What do you mean as a patrolman? Like at the parking lot or something?
Yeah,
okay.
I work the night shift, making sure nothing was going on.
Cool.
Well, one of the other patrolmen, which has now been fired months ago, threatened to shoot me with a gun.
Nice.
So I made a complaint about it.
There's something wrong with that? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is some military guy.
Did you call the cops?
No, what good would that do?
Well, you would at least have it on record. It would be pretty good. If someone told me they were going to come shoot me, that would probably be my first call.
Well, I did call the cops. When I tried to get his name, they came down. And the cop, and I'll quote him, he goes, well, do you have any witnesses? And I go, well, generally, officer, as you've been trained to know, people generally make threats when there are no witnesses. So here's what happened. The second time it happened, my timesheets were coming up missing. He was taking my timesheets. He admitted to me he had a key to get in here. So the second time it happened, I threatened, I says, I'm going to the labor board. Well, then they came up with all these false statements on me, fired me, and of course I fired back down on Debbie, who used to be the manager here. And I just a couple of weeks ago I requested copies of those to take to my lawyer. Well,
they don't have to give you any of that.
Yeah, they don't have, but they're firing me.
Dave, how can I help you? What can I do if I had a magic wand, and I might? What can I do?
I want these people to realize they can't mess with people's lives like this. When I'm just an innocent guy.
Why do you want to stay there after all this crap?
Well, I don't, but see, I'm on disability.
Okay.
I can't afford to go anywhere else.
Is it like Section 9?
No, I'm not on Section 9. I'm just paying my 2/3 of my SSDI goes to rent.
And you don't think you can get another place for the same pricing?
Oh, well, no, I don't qualify. I tried another place. You got to make like $2,500 a month.
Well, I think what we do is try to find you a place. I mean, trying to have them not evict you when your lease is up. I just don't see anything you're going to be able to do.
Oh, and I don't want to stay here, but these people are like getting away with something they shouldn't be able to get away with.
Yeah.
They're messing with people's lives here.
I understand.
Okay, now, do I want to stay here? Absolutely not. But these people are getting away with murder around.
Well, that's going a little far here, but I understand what you're saying. It's horrible. Where are you looking? What area? Once again, let's focus on trying to find you a place. I mean, I'd rather give you real help than give you, a bunch of words that are going to mean nothing. Yeah. They're going to kick you out.
I tried Union Station. They're a real good outfit here in town. They have several apartment buildings around town.
Yeah. But
there's a 3 to 4 backlog just to get in there. So, when I'm making $1,550
how much do you have if there's a landlord listening or an apartment complex manager or somebody out there listening? How much a month can you pay?
Well, I'm paying $1,000, $1,015 right now, which is really crippling me to begin with.
And that's downtown Denver?
No, this is out at 6th and Sable.
Okay. I don't know if that's so outrageous.
Kind of out east in the hood here, so.
Watch this.
I tried another place, and I don't qualify. You got to make like $2,500. It's just the principle of these guys.
I understand, but there's
all sorts of things that have been going on here, Mark.
I get you, Dave, but your real problem is you're going to be homeless soon. That's your main problem. I don't know why you're focusing on this revenge method. They suck, okay? I'll even agree with you. They suck. If everything you said's true, they suck. But what good does that do anybody?
Nothing. I'm just mad.
You're venting.
People can get.
Watch this. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm going to do a transition. Watch this, Dan. Hey, take notes in there, Drew. Ready? What I would do is call Frank Duran, the real estate man, because he's going to be able to find you a house. 303-920-1622. He helped Suzanne and I do it. He's helped us sell our house. Do you realize, honest to God, I argued with Frank. I want to list it at a higher price. He said to me, you're not going to get what you want unless if you do it my way. So we listed it lower. He created this frenzy of about, I don't know, in the first week, not only did we have like 75,000 people, and I'm not exaggerating, from around the country do a virtual walkthrough, but we had about 10 to 15 legitimate offers. He started a frenzy, a bidding war. Next thing you know, I got more than what I wanted to list it for. It's the truth. That's exactly how it went down, and it was incredible. I remember arguing with him. I don't want to sell it for that. Don't worry, Mark, we're not going to. We're going to start a bidding war. Sure enough, it worked out. 303-920-1622. Frank Duran, the real estate man.
This is Denver's Talk Station, 630 KHOW and iHeartRadio.
Get a hold of him. Yo, put your headset on. KHOW, Denver.
No.
From the Fox Business Network, all Wall Street stocks are mixed in afternoon trading as losses in healthcare, utilities, and other sectors are
And wink and wink.
in banks and industrial companies. And shares of Apple reversing course from earlier losses today and rising in afternoon trading, putting the tech giant on track for a 7th straight gain as they head towards another record high. The win streak would be the longest since the 9-session stretch through July 19th of 2017. Apple stock has run up over 14% in its winning streak. And payments processor Square is launching Square for restaurants.
We have that dude's info, I take it, right?
Operations designed to bring more small business
That last caller,
into its
Dave.
platform. The cloud-based product has tools that will let
How did he get in on that line?
track hours worked and split tips. Square's Caviar food delivery platform will also integrate directly into Square for restaurants.
Who did you have? Plumline and who?
Have you checked your Google search results lately? What the internet says about you can have
I have Plumline too, don't you?
And your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you
I did fix it. You sure I did Plumline?
with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-566-7906 now for your free reputation analysis. Our dedicated experts and patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-566-7906 to learn more or visit ReputationDefender.com.
This report is brought to you by Lowe's. For the most part, the highway drive to the metro area in pretty good shape. Rest being cleared on the eastbound side of I-76 Pecos.
I'm here to open up a can of whoop ass.
What's that?
Okay, you didn't get my message, but do not promise people that we will in any way, shape, or form find them a place, Section 8, Section 9, homeless, or whatever. There is nothing out there.
Why would I promise someone that? What are you talking about?
I know, but it scares me because sometimes Tom's like...
I told him to call Frank Duran, the real estate man.
Sometimes it's like you and Tom will be like, oh, you know, give it to Daphne. She'll find you. There is nothing. There is nothing out there.
There will
and
be
I'm
in about a
sorry,
year.
These people that don't have the money, they need to move to Pueblo or someplace like that because there's no place to live here.
Well, it didn't even matter. It wasn't even
Gentrification has
I still don't
taken
understand
over.
what you're talking about. Where did you hear me say that?
You just said, let us help you find a place. And I go, no!
I said, let's try to find it.
No!
Typical stewardess.
No, I know there's not stuff.
You know, and
but
I
$1,000 is
said-
not bad. What he's paying. I mean, you can get stuff out there for a single bedroom.
The reason it changed from stewardess to flight attendant is because stewardesses are they're like hostesses. They're only there for to take care of you. And flight attendants, their first job is to evacuate.
I
the
understand the
and
men were
was
flight
nice.
attendants.
Yes.
I'm talking about the waitresses, the stewardesses.
No, serving the passengers is not their first job. It's that.
If they're women, it is. If they're men, I agree. You're so easy to get going.
You are such a.
I am. Next time I'm on it. Excuse me, stewardess. Stewardess. But I'll be talking to a guy.
Coffee, tea, or me. That's what started that book.
Okay, keep it down. It is time
for, yes, Troubleshooter Trivia. In fact, I'm going to ask our common man. No, I'm going to ask Jack Lent, because you're in the construction business. You tell me who I'm talking about. I'm going to see how long you have listened to the show, okay? In fact, last time I did this commercial, somebody called up. You remember this, Suzanne? I can't believe the nitpicking I hear in my life. Dan, I can't believe the nitpicking. I was actually talking about this person. I don't want to say it yet. But he's a Romanian immigrant. He came to America in 2003 with $300 in his pocket. No family, no friends. He lands in New York City, takes a bus to Denver, and starts working with a granite fabricator. Who am I talking about?
Granite.
Well, of course, granite. Mitch Floria.
Mitch Floria.
In the art of granite. I mean, I love a success story. Talk about the American dream. This guy literally came over $300 in his pocket. You know, fast forward, he's a citizen, he's married, he's got kids, and Art of Granite is an awesome business. We got our upstairs bathroom done by him, part of our kitchen done when we remodeled, and then our entire mudroom redone. He just does everything from start to finish. There's so many slabs to choose from down there, and if they don't have the exact slab you want, he'll let you use his wholesale account and shop elsewhere to get the material. 303-386-5919, Art of Granite. Now, do you remember the one guy? I said he came over and he went to Ellis Island. Now, of course, everybody knows Ellis Island. When did Ellis Island close?
It was like in the 50s, yeah.
Now, I knew that. What I meant was he visited Ellis Island. That's what I was trying to say.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I was trying to say. And but these are the kind of emails I get. Lucky me, right? Jerry, what's going on with you?
Yes,
Jerry.
To me?
Yes,
hey,
I'm talking to you.
Yeah,
you talking to me?
Your earlier call triggered me to run a Carfax report. I bought a car brand new a month ago. It's a 2017.
Yes.
With 200 miles on it.
Yes.
I'm looking at the Carfax report, and it looks like they replaced the long block, and the engine was. So it says engine removed to complete repair on long block replaced.
On the Carfax?
Like replaced on the Carfax. So I kind of, that made me a little concerned that it looks like they replaced the engine. Is that something that they should have disclosed to me? Do I need to worry about the value of the car going down this,
Man, that's
2 years from now?
I would say that would affect the value. I find that crazy.
Why would they have replaced the motor? I mean, it's got to be under, what, 20 miles or whatever?
Maybe like
New Year's?
a recall? No, not under. I think it's under like, I want to say like 1,000. I don't know the exact number though, Dan. I mean, there's a lot of cars. Once they're a demo, I think it's like 2,500 miles maybe.
Yeah, it was 200 miles when I bought it, about 213 miles.
But you bought it brand new. It wasn't used. It wasn't a demo.
It wasn't a demo. It was never...
Full warranty.
It was not sold as used. It was sold as new. The Carfax says, engine removed to complete repair, long block replaced.
God, you're stumping me. I would say, yes, you definitely have a damage error. If I was, okay, and I tell people this all the time. If I'm looking at two exact cars, so let's take a 2015 Honda Civic. Everything's the exact same on it. Same leather, same sunroof, same options, same mileage, same condition. Everything's the same. If one of them has a Carfax where the engine was removed, I would probably buy the other one. I find that strange. I don't know why they wouldn't have to disclose that to you, and I'm not sure who I'd ask about that. I wonder if Jim Janicelli at Colorado Springs Dodge, Suzanne, could help us with that.
Could help with what, Mark? I missed it.
Just see if you can get him or Andy on. Does a dealer have to disclose if an engine was replaced on a brand new vehicle when they sell it?
Okay, and just so you know, regarding that hail damage call,
yes,
a gentleman called and thought you might be off base. He thought there would be diminished value. You were saying there's no loss if it's not on the Carfax, but he thought there might be diminished value.
Well, there's no. I'm not.
So I thought you could address that.
Well, okay. I mean, basically, we had a guy call in who thinks when he bought the vehicle brand new that it had hail damage. Well, let's say it did have hail damage, and he didn't have hail damage again, which this particular caller did. I don't know about diminished value. I don't know if I'd call it. Let me put this guy on hold. I don't think I'd call it diminished value. I'd say the dealer screwed you. When you go to sell the vehicle, you're going to take a hit. You got to figure out what that hit was. But because, caller, because he already had another hailstorm and he already had more hail damage, I was trying to figure out, what is he really out? What is his true damage? If you have hail damage and then the very next day you have more hail damage, you never fixed the first hail damage, I'm not sure where you go to that. And his insurance was willing to fix everything. So I don't know. Diminished value, by the way, is generally, well, in Colorado you can have it on if someone else hits you and you can prove that because of the accident, even after repairs that are done properly, if you can prove, and on some cars I think it would be easy, on older cars I find it almost impossible, but you might be able to get it. But if it's your own insurance company, you could never do that. Dan, what do you think on that engine swap, though? I want to go back to that.
I just can't believe they would have swapped the engine in 200 miles. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Well, it could have been like a recall or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure. I wonder how a dealer is supposed to handle that. Our common man, Jim Caraway with K9 Masters, what do you think? You buy a brand new vehicle, 6 months later, you run a Carfax on it, or for whatever reason, you get a Carfax on it, and you find out that when you bought it, they switched out the long block. It still only had less than 200 miles on it, but what do you think? Does it even matter to you?
Yeah, it would matter, and I'd want somebody to look at the serial number on the engine, see if it matches the one on the VIN, because if they change the whole engine...
Yeah, they said
block,
yeah.
It should have a different serial number on it.
Yeah. I don't know how that works either. I mean, if the manufacturer does it, can they... Yeah, you're right, it would. It would have a different number on it.
Mm-hmm.
But what does that do? I'm trying to think, if the vehicle runs perfect and everything's perfect, there's two things here. Should have they disclosed it? That's one. But the fact they didn't disclose it, is there an actual damage there? I say yes, because the Carfax in my example could be the damage.
Yeah, I think so too, because if you go to sell it later on, you'd have to disclose that to the potential buyer, right?
Well, you don't have to disclose it.
I would. I mean,
well, maybe so, but I don't even know the relevance of it. Would you disclose, hey, I replaced the alternator 2 years ago? Probably not.
The whole engine, that's...
Yeah, but it's before you bought. God, it's such a weird thing. Jack Lent, what do you think, man? Lent Construction. You buy a brand new truck, and you find out after you've been driving it a while, they replaced an engine. God, it's the oddest thing. I don't get it.
I wouldn't have a problem with it.
You wouldn't? See, I don't think Tom would have a problem with it either. I've got to know him over the past 25 years.
Depending on the car. If it was a really fancy, like a Jaguar or something like that, you would.
Well, not even that. I mean, when he says, he's talking Ferraris, then it would. I would guess it would. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't even know who to ask about the disclosure process on an entire engine. I wonder if someone up at Rollies would know. Was Jim not available? How about Andy?
I texted Jim. I was waiting to hear back from him.
I'd love to know the answer to that. If you're in the business, I'd love to know that. If you have a brand new car, what do you have to disclose? I think we looked up the dollar amount before. I don't remember what it is, but a long block would definitely fall in that dollar amount. All right, K9 Masters. Your average customer spends what? This is the favorite part of my show where I asked our referral list members real numbers. So if I want to get my dog trained, generally is it a puppy I'm bringing up to you?
Oh, it could be. It could be a grown dog. Anything after 4 months, I'll take. And it's $300 for 5 weeks of obedience. And that will typically solve most behavioral issues.
How often do you go out there?
Once a week.
So once a week you'll go out, and how many hours do you spend with the dog?
It depends. I mean, each session is simple. It's very simple. It has to be, or the dog couldn't get it. So, hour.
Because the dog couldn't get it. That was good.
He gets bored.
Or the human.
So about an hour. So once every week.
Once a week.
For 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And how much does that cost?
$300.
So $300. Is there any kind of guarantee? What happens if after
absolutely.
5? Okay, so what are the guarantees?
I'll give them running back. But that just rarely happens. The only time that happens typically is if the dog decides to attack the owner rather than to submit.
What's the worst, what's the hardest breed to deal with? Like the Chihuahua, they always seem to be crazy.
It's harder to train little dogs because you got to get down to their level.
So you got to literally
so
get
either
to
raise them up on a table or get down to the bigger dogs are easier to handle.
But they're all the same from there?
It's just an individual thing to me. I don't even care what breed they are. People call me up and say, well, can you train this? Of course.
How about mutts? Are mutts not as smart?
No. Really, it doesn't take a lot of intelligence to learn 6 commands.
And it
really doesn't.
That's crazy. All right, listen, we do have someone from Colorado Springs Dodge. Have them hold. I got to take this break, Suzanne, or else we're going to be up against the clock. Andy, please hold tight. I've got an important question for you. Andy's with Colorado Springs Dodge. Speaking of vehicles, Century RV, I just got our new RV from it. Suzanne loves it. I love it. I love it. I love it. We got a Georgetown, and it's absolutely beautiful. But if you go down there, they got everything. They got fifth wheels. They've got travel trailers. They got Class A's, Class B's, Class C's, all makes and models. In fact, they're the largest Cougar dealer in the country. If you're looking for a Cougar fifth wheel, you're not going to get a better price anywhere. They got the buying power. All makes and models. They also have more used inventory than anybody in the state. Anybody in the state. Largest Cougar dealer in the country, largest used in the state. You got to call Century RV. 303-453-1111, 303-453-1111, 2 locations, centuryrv.com.
This report is brought to you by Lowe's.
There's a couple of spots to watch out for when you drive across town.
So how does it happen that you get to replace the engine in a car? Never been found with anybody else in the first 200 miles.
Well, I would guess they put a recall out on it. I can't come up with any other reason.
Did you ask them what kind of car that?
No, but I will.
We just need to know what if there's a recall on something.
So you go. This happened in '84, Mark.
But even in the recalls where the engines, like certain Hyundais, they take it in there and see if it has damage. I don't think they would know if there was damage in 200 miles.
I can't imagine why.
Shop Lowe's and save big this spring.
And Carfax has screwed stuff up before too.
Yeah, I was wondering that point.
Start with Lowe's.
They put it on Carfax.
I'm going to have you give this.
Somebody put it on Carfax but didn't disclose it to the buyer.
Well, right, exactly. It's exactly. That's you bring up a great question. They put it on Carfax.
Give me your best.
Because they have to do it. I mean, they're the ones that put it on Carfax.
Well, in Texas, the dealership gives you a little piece of paper that says they disclose everything they legally have to about their vehicle, and the potential buyer signs it, the dealership signs it, and you got that in your hand. I don't know about Colorado.
Yeah. We brought up a good point. If they took the time to put it on Carfax, why wouldn't they have disclosed it? Why would they put it on the Carfax?
I'm more baffled why it needed a new long block with 200 miles on it.
And could he go in there and pull the number off that, look at the VIN and see what the number was to see if the Carfax was even right?
See, I wonder if he's reading the Carfax right. I wonder if it had something where they had to remove and replace to get to something.
Give Mr. Green's Lawn and Tree Care Services a call. Mr. Green.
I don't know. It's crazy, though. But I would be upset. Tom would argue. All right,
Wink and wink. I'm hoping Car Hop doesn't have to call them soon, but they're bankruptcy attorneys, husband and wife team, Mike and Gigi Wink. They're both in studio all the time. They call you right back if you call up. They can answer all your bankruptcy questions. Maybe bankruptcy is what you need to do. Maybe it's not. Maybe the medical bills have piled up. Maybe you lost your job. You can't make your house payments. You want to save the house. There's Chapter 13. There's Chapter 7. These guys can help you with everything. And more importantly, they'll talk to you free. See if it's right for you. 303-410-1720. I'll tell you this, don't just keep going in the hole. I mean, if you're going in the hole every month and the mortgage payment's getting back and the credit card bills are so high you can't even charge anything anymore, don't put it off, because really you're wasting money at this point. If you think bankruptcy is the answer, at least call and talk to Mike and Gigi. 303-410-1720. That's winkandwink.com. And Andy Bareilles with Colorado Springs Dodge on our referral list at referrallist.com. In fact, Colorado Springs Dodge sells more. You guys are the largest Dodge dealer in the state, right, Andy?
We are.
I know we have customers from Denver, listeners in Denver, that'll drive down to you guys because they get the best deal down there. But I am perplexed on what Jerry is telling us. Jerry called up and said, hey, I was listening to the show and ran a Carfax on my brand new car. In fact, I'm going to put him in. How long ago, Jerry, did you buy that?
A month ago.
So he buys his car a month ago, and what is it, Jerry?
It's a 2017 Volkswagen CC.
Yeah, of course it's Volkswagen, because in my opinion they're lying, cheating after that crap with emissions. They're horrible. They're horrible people in my opinion. They put the okey doke on all of us here in the U.S., but let's get past that. Andy, he runs a Carfax on it, and according to the Carfax, Jerry, read exactly what it says.
Okay. It says, engine removed to complete repair, long block replaced.
So they don't disclose to him that the long block has been replaced. So the two questions I have, you know, one, you're the service manager down there. Why in the world would a brand new vehicle with less than 200 miles need a long block? And why wouldn't they, do they have to tell them, as far as you know? And what do you make of the whole thing?
It is low miles. I'm amazed that, 200 miles that would have an engine. That's unbelievable. And in my career, have I seen them come in and seen it happen? Yes. I mean, there's times that that one will go through assembly, it'll go through test, everything, and then it gets to the dealership, and it has an issue. Yes, they will fix it. The long block was the best fix because hopefully they put a brand new engine back in it and made it all back to original equipment.
Well, let's say they do, and I have this argument all the time. Tom and I have argued about it. If I go to buy this vehicle, let's say he wants to sell it next week, and there's another Volkswagen just like it for sale. One of them had the long block replaced, one of them didn't. I think I'd buy the one that didn't. I'd go, my God, what kind of car? It must be a lemon because it had the long block replaced at 200 miles. Are you supposed to disclose this?
No.
You don't have to.
As long as it's a new engine back to original equipment specs, no.
Why would they put it on Carfax then?
Well, because everything goes to Carfax, whether it's an engine replacement or an oil change in most cases.
No, we've had dealers try to cover up hail damage in the past, and it's not on a Carfax. I mean, there's times they're trying to okey-doke people, Andy.
Right.
But you're saying, even though it's on the Carfax, you don't think there's any issue. In other words, you're in the business.
I really don't. I mean, as long as the dealer was, it's more of the dealer having the factory trained techs to put it together. You know what, Mark? In some cases, it may be better. If the tech is a factory trained tech, and what he did, it may not ever make a difference. In most cases,
how do I know they did put a new engine in it and not like a?
Well, I'd call the dealer of Volkswagen and ask him. I'd call the dealer and say, hey, I see this on Carfax.
Yeah, if you called me for information on a Dodge, I'll usually share anything with you that isn't privacy stuff.
Yeah.
So I think they would be right up front with you. But matter of fact, we had one there when I was Martino a while back, Mark, if you'll remember. A guy had a Dodge Ram and wanted a new transmission because it was low miles. They put a new transmission in it.
Yeah.
So I don't think that dealer would have any problem sharing information with you. I'd be surprised if he did.
Yeah, Jerry, call him up. I'm liking what Andy's got to say. It would still bother me, though, Andy, that they didn't tell me that, but I understand what you're saying. It's a brand new engine. Well, we're assuming it's brand new and not reman, but assuming everything is right, I mean, it is what it is. So, hey, both of you, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on. And Jerry, just call him up and ask him what it was about. In fact, call us back maybe on Car Friday, Jerry, and tell us why it was put in there, because, I mean, that's the mystery to me at 200 miles. Now, Jacqueline, I'm going to put you on the spot. I want you to do a screaming deal. If someone wants to finish their basement or at least get a bid on it, I already know your pricing's great. Make it better.
I'm going to do a screaming deal. I'm going to offer $1,000 of material upgrades for the next 3 customers, whether they want to do premium carpet, solid core doors, mosaic, shower niches. All those savings will go directly back to you.
And are you generally less than the competition?
I try to be.
I bet. I already know you are.
I try to be competitive.
Well, you definitely got to be competitive, but you got to give the service, which I know you do. So that's for the first 3 people. They basically get a $1,000 voucher, if you will, free upgrades.
They do.
Okay, now, Mr. K9, you said $300 for the 5-week course. Give at least 1 or 2 screaming deals out for listeners down there if they want their puppy trained or if they have a dog that has an issue right now, maybe aggression towards other dogs. Do you deal with cats?
No.
All right. How much?
Free evaluation.
Free evaluation.
Yeah,
we'll
I'll
keep
come
it
over.
at that.
Yeah.
All right, 303-713-8255. 303 Martino is the number. I got to tell you, we've got a lot going on. We're going to pick up where we left off tomorrow. Hopefully we have a car hop update. These guys need to buy that car back. I'm serious. I'm going to make their lives hell if they don't. They're not doing the right thing.
Hey, does it seem like you...
You really think I wish Norris could have got on. I would like to see it.
You wish what?
Norris would have got on. I don't know if they have to buy them back, but it's probably good business to do it.
Volkswagen.
I
You know
could.
those things parked down there south of the springs?
Yeah, about 1 million of them.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Are they still down there?
Yes.
Last time I went by there,
Yes, they're still down there.
I wonder how many recalls they have.
You know that contract, holy
The exposure to hail down there is really high.
Dust and all the fires they've had around there.
Well, they can't resell them here. I don't know if they're going to part them out. If I was Volkswagen, I'd move them to Mexico and sell them. I mean, there's no emissions down there. They don't care. It's the Wild West.
And they're all diesels, right?
All.
I got $3,500 from them recently.
You did? For a Volkswagen?
We had a Passat diesel. It was a great car, though. It's 700 miles on it.
We had some callers trying to hold on to them.
Right, because they got better gas mileage.
Well, eventually what happened was you couldn't get them re-registered. They were flagged. So you couldn't get a license plate for them. So you had to, I mean, you can't keep them unless you're moving out of the country.
It's flagged like that book.
How did they think they were going to keep that secret?
Oh, God. They weren't the only ones, though.
Well, you know how they caught them, right? Or you don't?
Somebody told them it, didn't they?
They were testing them. There's like a gun for emission. Well, you've seen these vans you can drive by and they do emissions. Well, in the Springs they don't have them, down here they do. So they have this track where they were testing different vehicles out for emission standards. And the Volkswagen kept getting flagged. But then they pull it in and put it on a dyno machine and it would pass.